Hello guys, welcome to Scion What If. So in this video, we will see what if Goku had no limits. If you enjoy these kinds of stories, don't forget to show us some love by hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's start the story. Chapter 1, Beyond Breaking Point. Goku's fist crashed through the gravity chamber wall like it was made of paper. Again. Damn it. He stepped back, watching the reinforced metal crumple outward. That was the third time this week. Bulma would kill him. The readout on the gravity machine blinked steadily at 500 G, a level that used to challenge him. Now it felt like a light morning stretch. Something was off. For weeks, his power had been building faster than normal, even by Scion standards. Maybe one more push, he muttered, cranking the dial all the way up to 750 G. The air grew heavy instantly. The floor panels groaned. Warning lights flashed across the control panel, but Goku ignored them. He needed to feel resistance again, needed something to push against. His muscles barely registered the increased gravity as he launched into a series of kicks and punches. Not enough, he growled, slamming his palm against the controls again. The system blared warnings as he forced it to 1000 G, well beyond its safety protocols. The chamber shuddered violently. Bolts popped from their housing like bullets. Goku barely noticed. He felt good, better than good. Power surged through him, warm and electric. He pushed harder, faster, his movements blurring even to his own eyes. Something cracked overhead. A support beam gave way, then another. The gravity generator whined, a high-pitched scream of mechanical distress. Just a little more, Goku whispered, his aura flaring golden around him. He hadn't even transformed to Super Saiyan yet, but power poured off him in waves that warped the air. The gravity machine exploded. Shrapnel tore through the room like shrapnel. The force of the blast caught Goku mid-punch, hurling him against the far wall. Pain lanced through his skull as darkness swallowed his vision. His last conscious thought was simple confusion: when was the last time anything had actually hurt? Irresponsible, pig-headed, absolute moron. Bulma's voice dragged Goku back to consciousness. He cracked one eye open to find himself in Capsule Corp's medical bay. His head pounded. Several monitoring devices beeped steadily beside him. "Hey, Bulma," he croaked. "Sorry about your gravity room." "My gravity room?" Bulma loomed over him, blue hair wild, eyes blazing. "You nearly died, Goku. Your heart stopped for 30 seconds. Goku tried to sit up but found both arms hooked to 4 lines. "That's weird. I feel fine now." "You shouldn't," Vegeta's voice came from the corner. He stood with arms crossed, expression harder than usual. "Your skull was fractured in 3 places. 6 broken ribs. Internal bleeding." "Huh." Goku wiggled his toes, then his fingers. Everything worked perfectly. "How long was I out?" 3 hours, Bulma said, checking one of the monitors. "Which is impossible. Those injuries should have had you in a coma for weeks, even with your Scion healing." Goku grinned. "Guess I'm just tough. This isn't a joke." Vegeta pushed off from the wall, approaching the bed. "What were you doing cranking that machine past its limits? Even I don't push it beyond 700 G. I couldn't feel it anymore." Goku shrugged. "Needed something stronger." Bulma and Vegeta exchanged glances. "Listen," Bulma said, her voice softening. "Your blood work is strange. Your cellular energy readings are off the charts. I've never seen anything like it, not even when you reached Ultra Instinct. Is that bad? I don't know yet. But you need to take it easy until I figure it out." Goku laughed. "I just told you, I feel fine. Better than fine." To prove his point, he pulled the IVs from his arms and swung his legs over the bed's edge. Bulma started to protest, but he was already standing, stretching his arms overhead. See? Good as new. Kakarot. Vegetas. Voice dropped dangerously low. There's a crater where the gravity room used to be. The explosion should have vaporized you. Maybe I transformed at the last second. I don't really remember. You didn't, Bulma said. The security footage shows you took the blast at base form. No transformations. Goku scratched his head. Weird. Hey, I'm starving. Is there any food around? Bulma threw her hands up. Unbelievable. You nearly die and all you can think about is your stomach. A near-death experience always makes Saiyan stronger, Vegeta mused. But this recovery time is unprecedented. I'll run more tests, Bulma said, already tapping notes into her tablet. Meanwhile, NO training, Goku. Not until I figure out what's happening to you. Goku's stomach growled loudly. But food is okay, right? 3 days later, Goku stood in an open field miles from West City, facing off against Gohan. His son hovered in the air opposite him, powered up to his full potential, the state that once surpassed Super Saiyan Blue. You sure about this, Dad? Gohan called. Mom will kill us both if she finds out. Relax. It's just a little sparring match. Bulma's tests are taking forever, and I'm going crazy sitting around. Fine. But we take it easy, okay? Goku nodded, though taking it easy wasn't really in his vocabulary. He needed to test himself after what happened in the gravity chamber. Something felt different inside him, like his power was a pot of water perpetually on the verge of boiling over. Whenever you're ready, son. Gohan didn't waste time. He flickered from view, reappearing behind Goku with a kick aimed at his father's head. Goku blocked it without looking, the impact sending shockwaves across the field. Grass flattened in a perfect circle around them. Not bad, Goku grinned. But you're telegraphing your moves. He countered with a series of lightning-fast jabs. Gohan blocked most but took a solid hit to the ribs that sent him skidding backward. Oof, Gohan gasped. I thought we were taking it easy. That was easy. Goku protested, though he realized he hadn't actually held back much. Gohan's eyes narrowed. He straightened, his white aura flaring brighter as he tapped deeper into his potential. Fine. Let's step it up. The next exchange was faster, both fighters blurring across the sky. Blow met counterblow, each impact echoing like thunder. Goku felt his blood singing with the joy of battle. This was what he needed. But even as Gohan pushed himself to his absolute limits, Goku realized he was barely trying. Come on, Gohan. Give me everything you've got. I am. Gohan shouted back, frustration evident in his voice. Goku frowned. Gohan wasn't lying, his son was fighting at full power. Yet it felt like sparring with a child. Without thinking, Goku threw a casual punch to break Gohan's guard. The impact sent Gohan hurtling toward the earth like a meteor. He crashed into the ground, creating a 30-foot crater. Gohan. Horror flooded through Goku as he instantly transmitted to his son's side. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hit that hard. Gohan lay in the center of the crater, conscious but dazed. Blood trickled from his nose and mouth. What was that, Dad? I don't know. I wasn't even trying. Goku helped Gohan sit up. I thought I was holding back. Well, you weren't. Gohan winced, prodding at what was definitely a broken rib. That felt stronger than your Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken. Goku stared at his hands. But I'm not even transformed. Maybe we should get back to Bulma's. Yeah. Goku placed a hand on Gohan's shoulder, focusing on Bulma's key signature. Sorry again, son. It's okay, Gohan managed a smile despite his injuries. Just remind me not to volunteer as your sparring partner for a while. What part of no training was unclear to you? Bulma slammed a stack of papers down on her lab table. Goku winced. Gohan had been taken to another room for treatment, leaving him alone to face Bulma's wrath. I just needed to move around a little, he protested. I didn't know that would happen. That's exactly why you shouldn't have been fighting. Your power readings are completely unstable. She pointed to a monitor displaying a jagged, ever-rising line graph. This is your baseline energy over the past 5 days. It's growing continuously. Is that normal? No. Bulma took a deep breath, visibly trying to calm herself. Normally, even for Saiyans, power levels stabilize between fights or training sessions. Yours isn't plateauing at all. It's just climbing. Constantly. Goku scratched his head. So I'm getting stronger without doing anything. Cool. Not cool, Goku. Dangerous. She pulled up another chart. Your cells are producing more energy than they can contain. It's like trying to fill a water balloon from a fire hose. Eventually, something has to give. You mean I might explode? Goku looked more curious than concerned. I don't know what will happen. Bulma threw up her hands. This is completely unprecedented. I've called Whis, but he hasn't answered yet. Hey, where's Vegeta? Goku asked, suddenly realizing the prince wasn't around. Bulma's expression darkened. Training. He's been in the backup gravity chamber since your accident. Hasn't come out except to eat. Oh. Goku didn't need to ask why. He knew exactly what drove Vegeta right now, the same thing that always did. Their rivalry. If Goku was somehow growing stronger without effort, Vegeta would be pushing himself to the breaking point to keep up. I should talk to him, Goku said. Later. Right now, I need to run more tests while your energy is spiking from the fight. Goku sighed but sat down on the examination table. As Bulma attached sensors to his chest and arms, he concentrated on his own ki. She was right, it felt different. Usually his energy had a rhythm, ebbing and flowing like the tide. Now it surged constantly, like a river that had broken through a dam. Bulma, he said quietly, what if it doesn't stop? She paused, sensor in hand. For once, the genius scientist looked uncertain. I don't know, Goku. But we'll figure it out. We always do. The lab door hissed open before Goku could respond. They both turned to see Piccolo standing in the doorway, his cape singed and his expression grim. We have a problem, the Namekian announced. Someone's looking for you, Goku. Someone powerful. How powerful? Goku couldn't keep the excitement from his voice. Powerful enough to swat me aside like an insect. Piccolo's jaw tightened. He said his name is Korin. Claims to be some kind of cosmic sentinel. Whatever that means. Where is he now? Bulma asked, already pulling up external security feeds. Hovering above West City. Said he'd wait there for Goku. Piccolo's eyes narrowed. He also said if you don't come within the hour, he'll neutralize the anomaly by any means necessary. Anomaly? Goku repeated. I think he means you, Goku. Bulma pointed to her monitors. Whatever's happening to your energy, it must be attracting attention beyond Earth. Goku grinned, already heading for the door. Well, let's not keep him waiting. Goku, wait. Bulma called. Your power is unstable. You can't just rush into a fight. But he was already gone, leaving only a gust of wind in his wake. Korin floated cross-legged above West City, seemingly unbothered by the helicopters circling at a cautious distance. Human media, Goku assumed, as he materialized 50 feet away from the stranger. His first impression, this guy was no ordinary fighter. Korin appeared humanoid but with skin like polished silver that reflected the clouds around him. He wore no armor, only a simple dark robe that rippled despite the lack of wind. 3 glowing eyes, arranged in a triangle on his forehead, opened simultaneously as Goku appeared. Son Goku, Korin's voice resonated oddly, as if coming from everywhere at once. The anomaly made flesh. That's what people keep calling me today, Goku called back cheerfully. But most just call me Goku. Wanna tell me why you're threatening my planet? Korin unfolded his legs and stood upright in midair. He was tall, at least 7 feet, and moved with fluid grace that spoke of immense power held in perfect control. I am not threatening your planet, merely addressing a cosmic irregularity. The 3 eyes blinked in sequence. You have breached the accord of power equilibrium, mortal. The what now? Goku scratched his head. The fundamental law that governs power distribution across all universes. Korin made a gesture with one hand, and suddenly the air between them shimmered with complex, glowing symbols. No mortal being may accumulate power without limitation. It destabilizes reality itself. Look, I don't know anything about accords or equilibriums, Goku said. But if you're here to start trouble, I am here to end trouble before it begins. Korin waved his hand again, and the symbols vanished. You have somehow broken your natural limitations, Scion. Your power now increases without ceiling or pause. This cannot continue. Goku felt a flash of irritation. So what, you want me to just stop getting stronger? That's not really how it works for Scions. Scions grow stronger through battle and recovery. This is known and accounted for in the cosmic balance. Korin's middle eye glowed brighter. What happens within you now is different. Unchecked. Unlimited. A crowd had gathered below them, pointing upward and recording with their phones. Goku glanced down, suddenly conscious of how many innocent people could be hurt if this turned into a fight. Maybe we should talk somewhere else, he suggested. There is nothing to discuss. All 3 of Korin's eyes flared. I have been tasked with resolving the anomaly. I will do so. Korin moved faster than Goku expected, almost faster than he could track. Almost. At the last second, Goku sidestepped the blow that would have struck his chest, feeling the displaced air rush past him. Whoa! That was close. Goku grinned despite himself. It had been a while since anyone had surprised him with their speed. Look, I don't want to fight you in the city. Too many people could get hurt. Your concern is noted. Korin didn't sound impressed. But ultimately irrelevant. This time, the Sentinel didn't telegraph his attack at all. One moment he was floating calmly, the next, his fist connected with Goku's jaw in an uppercut that should have sent him flying into the stratosphere. Should have. Goku didn't budge. The impact rattled his teeth and actually stung a little, but otherwise, nothing. Both Goku and Korin looked equally surprised. Goku rubbed his jaw. That was a good hit. Korin's 3 eyes widened. Impossible. That strike contained enough force to shatter a moon. Yeah, it wasn't bad, Goku agreed. But I really insist we take this somewhere else. Without waiting for agreement, Goku placed 2 fingers to his forehead and locked onto a familiar, desolate key signature, the barren wasteland where he'd first fought Vegeta. He reached out, grabbed Korin's arm, and teleported them both. The Sentinel clearly hadn't expected the instant transmission. He stumbled slightly as they materialized above the rocky desert, momentarily disoriented. There, Goku said, dropping into a fighting stance. Now we can go all out without hurting anyone. Korin regained his composure quickly. Fascinating. Instant spatial translocation without dimensional folding. The 3 eyes focused on Goku with new intensity. Perhaps I have underestimated the complexity of this anomaly. I don't know what any of that means, but if you want to fight, I'm ready. Fight? For the first time, Korin's metallic face showed something like amusement. No, Son Goku. This is not a fight. This is a correction. The air around the sentinel began to warp and shimmer. His silver skin brightened until it was painful to look at directly. When Korin spoke again, his voice had taken on a resonant, multi-tone quality. By the authority of the Cosmic Accord, I hereby initiate Power Limitation Protocol. Energy unlike anything Goku had ever felt before erupted from Korin, not Ki, not God. Energy, but something more fundamental. It reminded Goku of when Whis had taken him between dimensions, that sense of reality itself becoming malleable. The energy engulfed Goku in a sphere of shifting light. He felt something probing at his very essence, trying to reshape his core. It wasn't painful, exactly, but deeply invasive, like someone trying to rewrite his DNA. What are you doing? Goku grunted, pushing back against the strange energy. Restoring natural limitations to your power, Korin replied calmly. Your cellular structure has somehow bypassed the cosmic governor that exists in all mortal beings. I am reinstalling it. Goku felt the foreign energy trying to settle into his cells, attempting to establish some kind of barrier or limiter. Instinctively, his ki rose to resist it, a natural defense against the intrusion. Stop fighting it, Korin said, now showing signs of strain. This is necessary. But Goku couldn't stop. His power responded automatically, surging higher and higher to push back against Korin's cosmic energy. The sphere around him began to crack as golden light poured from within, Goku's aura intensifying despite his not having transformed. This is unprecedented, Korin gasped. Your power is actively countering the limitation protocol. The sphere shattered, sending Korin tumbling backward through the air. Goku remained hovering, his white aura now shot through with veins of gold and blue energy that spiraled around him like living lightning. Sorry, Goku called, genuinely apologetic. I didn't mean to break your, whatever that was. But nobody rewrites me without permission. Korin stabilized himself, all three eyes now blazing with ethereal fire. Then we proceed to more direct methods. The sentinel raised one hand, and the sky darkened as if a storm had instantly formed. But instead of clouds, what gathered above them was energy, pure, concentrated power that made the air taste like metal and ozone. Last chance, Son Goku. Submit to limitation, or I will be forced to neutralize you entirely. Goku's expression hardened. I don't know what's happening to me either, but I'm not letting anyone neutralize me. There are too many people counting on me to protect them. Then you leave me no choice. Korin brought his hand down. The gathered energy condensed into a spear of blinding white light that shot toward Goku with impossible speed. Time seemed to slow for Goku. He could see the spear approaching, could sense the raw destructive potential it contained, enough to obliterate not just him but probably the entire planet. In that stretched moment, he felt his power responding, rising to meet the threat. Not just rising. Exploding. Goku threw his hands forward just as the spear reached him. Instead of trying to deflect it, he caught it between his palms. The impact drove him backward, his feet creating trenches in the earth below as he skidded for miles. The energy burned against his skin, trying to burrow through his defenses, to disintegrate him at the atomic level. Eh! Goku's shout was both pain and effort as he fought to contain the devastating attack. And then something clicked inside him. Like a key turning in a lock, or a dam finally breaking. The ever-rising power that had been building since the gravity room accident suddenly found purpose, a challenge worthy of its full expression. Goku's aura erupted, enveloping the spear of energy. His hair flashed golden, then blue, then a shimmering silver, cycling through transformations without settling on any of them. The ground beneath him cracked and fell away as he began to rise back into the air, still holding Korin's attack between his hands. This is mine now. With a final roar, Goku compressed the energy spear between his palms, condensing it from a 20-foot javelin into a ball the size of an apple. The compression sent shockwaves across the desert, flattening rock formations for miles around. Korin stared in absolute disbelief. That's not possible. Goku looked up at the sentinel, his eyes now glowing with the same energy he held compressed in his hands. I don't know what's happening to me, he said calmly. But I know I'm not letting you destroy my home. With a casual flick, Goku sent the compressed energy ball straight up into space, where it detonated with a flash so bright it turned night to day for several seconds. The shockwave hit Earth's atmosphere moments later, creating aurora-like patterns visible across the entire hemisphere. In the sudden silence that followed, Korin hovered motionless, all three eyes wide with what might have been awe, or fear. You absorbed the spear of cosmic judgment, he said finally. No mortal has ever survived direct contact with it, let alone redirected it. Goku shrugged, his aura settling back to its normal white glow. I'm just full of surprises today. Indeed. Korin's posture changed subtly, becoming less aggressive. It seems I have miscalculated. The anomaly is more complex than initially assessed. Does that mean you're done trying to neutralize me? Goku asked. For now. Korin folded his arms. But understand this, son Goku, what is happening to you violates fundamental cosmic law. The accord of power equilibrium exists for a reason. Unlimited growth in a mortal vessel has consequences far beyond your comprehension. So explain it to me, Goku suggested. Because right now, all I know is that I'm getting stronger without trying, and you showed up to kill me for it. Korin was silent for a long moment, his three eyes blinking in that strange sequential pattern. Finally, he nodded. Very well. A basic explanation may be warranted, given the exceptional circumstances. The sentinel gestured, and two floating discs of energy appeared beneath them. Sit, he commanded, taking a cross-legged position on one of the discs. Goku hesitated, then did the same, lowering himself onto the surprisingly solid energy construct. Across all universes, Korin began, there exist fundamental laws that maintain balance. One such law is the accord of power equilibrium, which ensures that no single mortal being can accumulate unlimited power. All creatures have natural ceilings, points beyond which they cannot grow without extraordinary intervention. Like transformations? Goku asked. Precisely. Super Saiyan, golden form, awakened potential, these are regulated exceptions, cosmic loopholes that allow for temporary power increases without destabilizing the universal balance. So what's different about what's happening to me? Your body has somehow bypassed the governor mechanism entirely. Korin's middle eye glowed brighter. Your power is no longer merely growing, it is compounding. Each increase creates the foundation for exponentially larger growth. Left unchecked, this process leads to only one theoretical end. Which is infinity. Korin spoke the word like it was dangerous. True unlimited power is not meant for mortal hands, son Goku. It corrupts. It destroys. And ultimately, it draws attention from forces beyond your comprehension. Goku frowned, processing this. But I feel fine. Better than fine, actually. And I'd never use my power to hurt innocent people. Your intentions are irrelevant. Korin's tone sharpened. The mere existence of unlimited power in a mortal vessel creates ripples across all dimensions. Already, entities are taking notice. Beings that dwell in the spaces between universes. Cosmic predators drawn to abnormal energy signatures. You mean more guys like you will come after me? I am merely the first response. A sentinel dispatched. To investigate and resolve the anomaly through established protocols. Korin's expression grew grimmer. If those protocols fail, as they appear to have, escalation follows. Goku leaned forward, suddenly serious. Are you threatening my family? My friends? I am warning you, Korin corrected. The next entities to respond will not be as diplomatic as I have been. Shooting planet-destroying spears at me is diplomatic. By cosmic standards. Yes. Goku couldn't help but laugh at that, though the sound held little humor. So what happens now? Now I must report this unprecedented development to the Cosmic Tribunal. They will determine the next course of action. Korin rose from his seated position, the energy disk dissolving beneath him. In the meantime, I strongly advise you to avoid using your power as much as possible. Each exertion accelerates the compounding effect. And if I can't do that? Then prepare yourself, Son Goku. All three eyes fixed on him with solemn intensity. For you have become something the universe has never seen before, a mortal with the potential for true infinite power. Nothing in existence fears that possibility more than those who already possess great power themselves. With those ominous words, Korin raised one hand. Space itself seemed to fold around him, creating a doorway of shimmering light. Wait! Goku called. Is there any way to fix this? To go back to normal? Korin paused at the threshold of the portal. Perhaps. But the question you should ask yourself is, do you truly want to? Before Goku could answer, the sentinel stepped through the doorway. It sealed behind him with a sound like distant thunder, leaving Goku alone in the devastated wasteland. Vegeta's fist slammed into the training dummy so hard it disintegrated, scattering reinforced polymer fragments across the backup gravity chamber. 650G pressed down on him, making each movement a battle against crushing pressure. It wasn't enough. Nothing was enough. Damn you, Kakarot, he hissed through gritted teeth. The news of Goku's continuously growing power had reached him hours ago. Bulma's tests confirmed what Vegeta had already suspected. Somehow, the low-class Saiyan had once again broken through a barrier that should have been impossible. But this time was different. This wasn't just another transformation or technique Vegeta could work to match. This was something fundamental, a complete removal of the limits all warriors eventually faced. The gravity room door hissed open behind him. Vegeta didn't turn around. I told you I don't want to be disturbed, he growled. Yeah, I figured. Goku's voice. Of course it was. But we need to talk, Vegeta. Vegeta spun around, his aura flaring with barely controlled rage. Talk. Talk. While you become a god without even trying, you expect me to stand here and talk. Goku stepped into the gravity chamber, apparently unbothered by the 650G environment. He didn't even seem to notice it. I just had a fight with some cosmic enforcer guy, Goku said, his usual carefree tone subdued. Apparently, whatever's happening to me is breaking universal laws or something. Of course it is. Vegeta laughed bitterly. You've made a career of breaking limits, Kakarot. Why should universal law be any different? This isn't something I did on purpose, Vegeta. Does it matter? Vegeta stalked closer, his face contorted with frustration. Intended or not, the result is the same. You grow stronger by the minute while the rest of us struggle and train and bleed for every ounce of power. Goku didn't back down, but his expression softened with understanding. I know what this feels like for you, you know nothing. Vegeta roared, the veins in his forehead standing out. All my life, I've pushed myself beyond my limits. Trained until my bones broke and my body failed. Drove myself to the edge of death again and again. And for what? To watch you surpass me without effort. To become obsolete. The gravity room trembled as Vegeta's power spiked, his aura turning the familiar deep blue of Super Saiyan Blue. But there was something desperate in the transformation, something almost brittle. Fight me, Vegeta demanded. Right now. Full power. Goku shook his head. That's not a good idea. I don't have control over this yet. I already hurt Gohan without meaning to. I'm not your son, Vegeta sneered. I'm the prince of all Saiyans. And I'm ordering you to fight me with everything you have. No. The simple refusal landed like a physical blow. Vegeta's aura flickered, his expression cycling rapidly through rage, disbelief, and finally, most painfully, understanding. "You're afraid you'll kill me," he said, voice hollow. Goku didn't deny it. The silence that followed was worse than any insult Vegeta could have imagined. After all these years, all their battles, all their growth together as rivals and reluctant allies, it had come to this. Kakarot standing before him, refusing to fight not out of pacifism or mercy, but because the gap had grown too wide to bridge. "Get out," Vegeta said quietly. "Vegeta, we need to, get out." The prince's roar shook the gravity chamber. "Before I forget that we were ever anything but enemies." Goku stood his ground for a moment longer, something like regret crossing his features. Then he nodded once and placed 2 fingers to his forehead. "I'm sorry," he said, and vanished. Left alone, Vegeta's transformation dissolved like mist. He sank to his knees on the gravity room floor, the 650 G pressure suddenly feeling like nothing compared to the weight in his chest. "I refuse," he whispered to the empty room. "I refuse to become irrelevant." Whis materialized above Capsule Corp just after sunset, his staff glowing softly in the gathering darkness. Beerus floated beside him, arms crossed and expression sour. "I don't see why we had to come in person," the god of destruction grumbled. "It's probably just Goku being Goku. A cosmic sentinel appearing on Earth is hardly a routine matter, Lord Beerus." Whis tapped his staff lightly on the air. "Besides, Bulma's message mentioned something about anomalous power growth. Aren't you the least bit curious?" "Humph. Those scions are always finding new ways to get stronger. It's annoying." "Perhaps. But the involvement of a sentinel suggests this is different." Whis' usually playful tone had an undercurrent of concern. "The Cosmic Tribunal rarely intervenes directly in mortal affairs, even in matters concerning gods." They descended toward Capsule Corp's main dome, where sensors had already detected their arrival. Bulma was waiting for them on the landing pad, her expression a mixture of relief and worry. "Whis. Beerus. Thank goodness you're here." "Hello, Bulma," Whis greeted with a bow. "We came as soon as we received your message." Though I must say, Lord Beerus was quite reluctant to interrupt his nap. "This better be worth it," Beerus yawned. "Where's Goku?" Inside with the others, Bulma led them toward the main building. "I've been running tests on him for days, but nothing makes sense. His power keeps growing with no plateau in sight." "Growing how quickly?" Whis asked, suddenly more attentive. "Exponentially. The rate itself is increasing." Bulma pulled out a tablet, showing them a graph with a sharply rising curve. "At first I thought it was a temporary spike from his accident, but it hasn't stopped. If anything, it's accelerating." Whis and Beerus exchanged glances. "That is, concerning," Whis said carefully. "Concerning?" Beerus snorted. "It's potentially catastrophic. If what you're saying is true, Bulma, Goku could eventually reach power levels that rival the gods. Maybe even surpass them. Isn't that what you've been training him for?" Bulma asked, confused. "To become stronger, yes. To grow without limits? Absolutely not." Beerus's ears flattened against his head. "There's a reason even gods of destruction have limitations on our power." They entered Bulma's main lab to find Goku sitting on an examination table, electrodes attached to various points on his body. Gohan, Piccolo, and Krillin stood nearby, engaged in serious conversation. Everyone looked up as Whis and Beerus entered. "Hey guys." Goku waved cheerfully. "Long time no see." "Goku," Whis nodded in greeting. "I understand you've had an interesting few days." "That's one way to put it," Piccolo grunted. "He's already had a run-in with some cosmic enforcer calling himself a sentinel." "Korin," Whis said, surprising everyone. "Yes, I suspected as much when Bulma mentioned intervention from the Cosmic Tribunal." "You know that silver guy?" Goku asked. I know of the Sentinels, Whis clarified. They are servants of powers even the gods respect, the maintainers of cosmic equilibrium. That's what he kept talking about, Goku said. Some accord about power balance. The accord of power equilibrium, Beerus interjected. One of the fundamental agreements that allows multiple universes to coexist without collapse. Even gods of destruction are bound by it. And apparently, I'm breaking it just by existing, Goku sighed. Korin tried to fix me, but it didn't work. Whis approached the examination table, his expression unusually serious. May I? He asked, raising his staff. Goku nodded. Whis placed the tip of his staff against Goku's chest and closed his eyes. For several moments, he remained perfectly still, the orb atop his staff pulsing with gentle light. When he finally withdrew it, his expression was troubled. This is unprecedented, he said quietly. Your cellular structure has somehow removed the cosmic governor that exists in all mortal beings. Your power ceiling doesn't just keep rising, it no longer exists at all. Is that bad? Krillin asked hesitantly. It's unnatural, Beerus growled. The universe has order for a reason. Every being has its place in the hierarchy of power. Mortals. Kais. Gods of destruction. Angels. Xeno. When something steps outside that order. Corrections are attempted, Whis finished. As you've already experienced with Korin. He said there would be others, Goku recalled. Less diplomatic ones. He wasn't exaggerating, Whis confirmed. The Cosmic Tribunal does not tolerate anomalies that threaten universal stability. They will escalate their response until the issue is resolved one way or another. The room fell silent as everyone processed the implications. So what do we do? Gohan finally asked. Is there a way to fix this? To put the governor back? Perhaps, Whis mused. Though it would require extensive research into how it was removed in the first place. All eyes turned to Bulma, who threw up her hands. Don't look at me. I've been trying to figure that out for days. All I know is that the accident in the gravity chamber seems to have triggered the change. The gravity machine explosion. Whis tapped his chin thoughtfully. Interesting. Extreme pressure, followed by sudden release, it's possible the combination somehow reset your cellular memory, Goku. Erased the limitations that were encoded into your very being. Can we just blow him up again? Krillin suggested, half-jokingly. I doubt the same approach would work twice, Whis said. Besides, given his current state, I'm not sure anything on Earth could generate enough force to affect him similarly. So I'm stuck like this? Goku asked. For now, it appears so. Whis studied him curiously. How does it feel, Goku? To have no ceiling to your power? Goku considered the question seriously. Weird, he finally said. Like there's this current running through me all the time, getting stronger and stronger. And when I fight or even just move too fast, it's like opening a floodgate. Power just pours out, more than I expect or need. It will only intensify, Beerus warned. And attract more attention, not all of it from entities as restrained as the Cosmic Tribunal. What do you mean? Piccolo asked. He means, Whis explained, that power calls to power. Across the multiverse, there are beings who sense disturbances in the cosmic balance. Some will come to challenge Goku. Others to study him. Some perhaps to destroy him before he becomes a greater threat. Great, Krillin groaned. Just what we need. More superpowered bad guys. Not all will be enemies, Whis cautioned. But all will be drawn to the anomaly Goku has become. A mortal with truly unlimited potential is fascinating. Even to beings far older and more powerful than myself. Like who? Gohan asked. Whis merely smiled mysteriously. That remains to be seen. Meanwhile, Bulma cut in, we need a practical plan. Goku can't just sit around waiting for cosmic enforcers or curious gods to show up. Agreed, Whis nodded. He needs to learn control, first and foremost. His power may have no ceiling, but without proper management, it could become dangerous to everyone around him. Even those he cares about. Goku's expression sobered at that. I already hurt Gohan accidentally. And Vegeta is having a predictable crisis. Bulma finished for him. He'll come around. Eventually. I'm not so sure, Goku said quietly. This is different from when I reached Super Saiyan first, or Ultra Instinct. Those were transformations he could work toward. This is. He trailed off. A fundamental change in what you are, Beerus completed the thought. And one he cannot match, no matter how hard he trains. A heavy silence fell over the room. I don't want this to come between us, Goku said finally. Vegeta's my friend. My rival. Fighting alongside him has made me who I am. Then perhaps that is where we start, Whis suggested. Not with the cosmic implications or the power itself, but with what matters most to you, Goku. Your connections to others. What do you mean? I mean that unlimited power is meaningless without purpose. Before you can learn to control this new state, you must first decide what you wish to do with it. Whis tapped his staff on the floor for emphasis. Why do you fight, Goku? What drives you? That's easy, Goku smiled. I fight to test myself. To protect my friends and family. And because it's fun. And now. Whis pressed. When no test remains that can challenge you. When your mere presence might endanger those you wish to protect. When the joy of battle fades because victory is assured. Goku's smile faltered. He hadn't considered that perspective, that unlimited power might actually take away the things he loved most. I don't know, he admitted. Then that is your first task, Whis declared. Not training your body, but your mind. Your heart. Find your purpose in this new reality. Only then can you truly begin to master what you have become. And in the meantime? Bulma asked practically. In the meantime, Beerus yawned, we keep this quiet. The last thing we need is word spreading to other universes that Earth harbors a mortal with unlimited potential. Some gods of destruction might consider that sufficient reason to erase this planet entirely, regardless of what Zeno might say. Lord Beerus is right, Whis agreed. Discretion is advisable. Goku should avoid using his power conspicuously while we determine the best approach. So I just, do nothing. Goku looked dismayed at the prospect. Consider it a different kind of training, Whis suggested. Learning restraint may prove more challenging for you than any battle you've ever fought. As if to emphasize the point, the lights in the lab suddenly flickered. Several monitoring devices sparked and went dark. Everyone looked at Goku, whose aura had unconsciously flared at the thought of not being able to train or fight. Sorry, he said sheepishly, reining in his energy. The light stabilized. You see the problem, Whis observed. Your power now responds to your emotions as much as your will. Until you gain better control, every moment of excitement, anger, or even joy could have consequences. So what do I do? Goku asked again, frustration evident in his voice. For tonight. Rest. Whis placed a reassuring hand on Goku's shoulder. Tomorrow, we will begin working on containment techniques. Not to limit your power's growth, but to help you channel it safely. And I'll keep researching the governor mechanism, Bulma added. There has to be a way to restore it, or at least understand why it failed. Goku nodded, though he didn't look entirely convinced. As the meeting broke up, with Bulma escorting Whis and Beerus to another lab to review her data, Goku remained sitting on the examination table, lost in thought. Gohan approached his father, concern evident in his features. You okay, Dad? Yeah, Goku smiled, though it didn't reach his eyes. Just thinking. About what Whis said. Finding your purpose? Partly. Goku looked down at his hands, flexing them slowly. But mostly about Vegeta. And you. And everyone else. What about us? What if Whis is right? What if getting stronger without limits means losing what makes fighting worthwhile? The challenge. The uncertainty. The growth. Goku looked up at his son, genuine worry in his eyes. What am I without those things, Gohan? Just a weapon. A force of nature. Gohan placed a hand on his father's shoulder. Your son Goku. The man who loves his family. Who'd rather give an enemy a senzu bean than an unfair fight. Who's saved the world more times than anyone can count, not because you're powerful, but because you're good. But what if this changes me? Power corrupts, right? Isn't that what people say? Maybe. Gohan squeezed his father's shoulder. But if anyone can handle unlimited power without being corrupted by it, it's you, Dad. I believe that. We all do. Goku smiled, more genuinely this time. Thanks, son. Besides, Gohan added with a grin, Mom will still make you take out the trash and clean up after dinner. Unlimited power or not. That drew a laugh from Goku, a real one that briefly lit up his aura with golden sparks. You're right about that. Chi-Chi's the one person in the universe I'll always be a little scared of. High above Earth's atmosphere, Korin stood on what appeared to be a platform of solid starlight. Before him hovered a shimmering portal through which three shadowy figures could barely be discerned, the Cosmic Tribunal in remote attendance. The anomaly resisted all standard limitation protocols, Korin reported, his three eyes downcast in deference. Even the spear of cosmic judgment failed to neutralize or restore equilibrium. This is unprecedented, the central figure's voice resonated with ancient power. No mortal has ever survived direct contact with the spear, let alone redirected it. The anomaly's power continues to compound at an accelerating rate, Korin continued. Based on current progression, it will reach divine thresholds within weeks. Beyond that, speculation is unnecessary, the figure on the right interrupted. The breach in the accord must be sealed by any means necessary. The anomaly has a name, the third figure noted, its voice softer than the others. Son Goku. A scion from Universe 7. Already known to us from previous universal events. His identity is irrelevant, the central figure declared. Only the threat he represents matters. And yet, the third figure countered, perhaps it is not coincidence that this particular mortal has transcended limitations. His history suggests a pattern of breaking boundaries thought immutable. Perhaps this was inevitable. Or deliberate, the figure on the right suggested darkly. We cannot discount interference from higher powers. Korin remained silent, knowing better than to interject in a debate among the tribunal. Regardless of cause, the central figure finally said, protocol must be followed. Korin, you will continue monitoring the anomaly. Document its progression. Assess potential threat levels. And if the threat becomes imminent? Korin asked. Then Phase 2 intervention will be authorized. The central figure's tone grew colder. Valora will be dispatched. Even Korin couldn't suppress a ripple of surprise at this proclamation. Valora has been in stasis for millennia. To awaken her for a single mortal, this is no ordinary mortal, the figure on the right snapped. You said it yourself, standard protocols failed. Extraordinary measures are warranted. As you command, Korin bowed deeply. When shall I inform the anomaly of the escalation? You will not, the central figure declared. Let him believe the matter closed for now. It will make Valoris' arrival all the more effective. The portal began to close, the three figures fading from view. But just before it sealed completely, the third figure spoke once more. Korin, observe him carefully. There may be more to this Son Goku than a simple breach of cosmic law. The portal closed, leaving Korin alone on his starlight platform. The sentinel gazed down at the blue-green planet below, his three eyes focusing on a specific point, Capsule Corporation, where the anomaly now resided. "Son Goku," he murmured. "What are you becoming?" 2 days later, Goku stood alone in the mountains where he'd spent his childhood. Dawn was just breaking over the eastern peaks, casting long shadows across the valley. He'd come here to think, and to be away from people he might accidentally harm while his power continued to grow unchecked. "Focus," he whispered to himself, closing his eyes. Whis had spent the previous day teaching him new energy containment techniques, methods used by divine beings to channel and control power far beyond mortal limits. They were complex, requiring a level of concentration Goku rarely needed to maintain. "Visualize your ki as water," Whis had instructed. "Not as a rushing river, but as a still, deep lake. Contained. Calm. Yet holding immense potential." Goku tried to follow those instructions now, reaching inward to the wellspring of his power. What he found there was anything but still or calm. His energy churned and roiled like a stormy ocean, growing more turbulent by the hour as his power continued to compound. "A lake," he muttered. "Still and calm. I can do this." He extended his senses outward, feeling the life energy of the forest around him, the trees, the animals, even the microscopic organisms in the soil. Then he imagined drawing his own overwhelming power inward, compressing it into a perfect sphere within his center. For a moment, it worked. The constant flare of his aura settled, shrinking until it clung to his skin like a second, luminous layer. The pressure in the air around him eased as his power condensed inward. "There," he breathed. "Got it." The mountain beneath his feet stopped trembling. Birds, which had fallen silent at his arrival, tentatively began to sing again. A deer emerged cautiously from the tree line, no longer sensing imminent danger. Goku smiled, pleased with his progress. Then, without warning, a sharp pain lanced through his head. Images flashed behind his eyes, strange, fractured visions he couldn't comprehend. Cosmic vistas. Beings of pure energy. Dimensions folding in on themselves like origami. Ag. He clutched his head, concentration shattering. His aura exploded outward with the force of a bomb. Trees flattened for half a mile in every direction. The mountain shook violently, boulders tumbling down its slopes. The deer that had ventured closer bounded away in terror. When the dust settled, Goku stood at the center of a perfect circle of devastation. Nothing remained within 50 yards of him except bare earth. "Damn it," he cursed, surveying the damage. This wasn't working. Every time he managed to contain his power, something happened, a spike, a surge, those strange visions, and his control slipped. "There must be another way," he muttered. "Perhaps there is." Vegeta's voice came from behind him. Goku whirled around, genuinely surprised. He hadn't sensed the prince's approach, a testament to how distracted he'd been by his own internal struggle. "Vegeta? What are you doing here?" The Saiyan prince stood with arms crossed at the edge of the devastation, wearing his usual training armor. His expression was unreadable. "Bulma told me what's happening," he said flatly. "About your condition." Goku tensed, uncertain what to expect. Their last encounter had ended with Vegeta nearly attacking him in jealous rage. "I'm trying to get it under control," Goku explained quickly. "Whis showed me some techniques, but they're not working very well yet." "Of course they're not," Vegeta scoffed. "You're trying to contain what wants to be free. That's never been your strength, Kakarot." "I don't have much choice. If I don't learn to control it," "I didn't say control," Vegeta interrupted. "I said contain. There's a difference." Goku blinked, confused. "What do you mean?" Vegeta stepped forward, entering the circle of destruction with measured strides. Despite his outwardly calm demeanor, Goku could sense the tension in his rival, the carefully controlled anger and jealousy still simmering beneath the surface. "You've always been at your best when you let your power flow naturally," Vegeta explained, his tone almost clinical. Your instincts guide you better than any technique or strategy. It's always been that way, even when I hated you for it. But this is different, Goku protested. This power, it just keeps growing. If I let it flow freely, then you need to direct it, not contain it. Vegeta stopped a few feet away. Channel it outward, toward a purpose. Give it somewhere to go. Goku stared at his rival, surprised by the constructive advice. Why are you helping me? I thought you were furious, jealous, ready to kill you for once again leaving me in the dust. Vegeta's mouth twisted in a bitter smile. I am. But I'm also not a fool, Kakarot. If this keeps up, your uncontrolled power might destroy the Earth. And contrary to my former ambitions, I've grown rather attached to this planet. So this is just practical, Goku said, unable to keep disappointment from his voice. No. Vegeta's expression softened marginally. Not just practical. We are, what's the human phrase? In this together. Despite everything, Goku grinned. That might be the nicest thing you've ever said to me, Vegeta. Don't get used to it, the prince growled, though without real heat. Now, are you going to try my approach, or would you prefer to level the entire mountain range? Goku looked around at the destruction he'd already caused and nodded. What do you suggest? Attack me. What? No way. I already told you, not with your full power, you idiot. Vegeta rolled his eyes. Just enough to establish the channel. Think of it as, creating a pressure valve. Somewhere for the excess energy to go in a controlled manner. Goku hesitated. I don't want to hurt you. Your concern is noted and unwelcome, Vegeta snapped, dropping into a fighting stance. Now strike me. Unless you're afraid. The obvious taunt almost made Goku smile. Even now, Vegeta knew exactly which buttons to push. Fine. But I'm going to start very small. I would expect nothing less from a warrior who fears his own strength, Vegeta taunted again. Goku took a deep breath and extended one hand. He focused on gathering the smallest fraction of his churning power, just enough to create a simple ki blast. Even that felt like trying to take a single drop from a waterfall, but he managed it, forming a sphere of energy no larger than a marble above his palm. Here goes, he warned, and flicked the tiny ball toward Vegeta. The prince made no move to dodge. The energy sphere struck him squarely in the chest, and exploded with the force of a small nuclear device. Vegeta! Goku screamed, lunging forward through the mushroom cloud of dust and debris. He found the prince embedded in the mountainside a quarter-mile away, his armor shattered and blood trickling from the corner of his mouth. But incredibly, Vegeta was conscious, and laughing. That was, your idea, of starting small. He coughed, spitting blood. I'm sorry. I tried to limit it. I don't know what happened. Goku helped extract Vegeta from the Vegeta-shaped crater in the rock face. What happened, Vegeta wheezed, is that you're still thinking like a normal fighter. You're trying to control your power from the outside, like squeezing a balloon and hoping it doesn't pop. Then what should I do? Control it from within. Vegeta tapped his own chest, wincing at what were probably several broken ribs. Don't try to hold back the power itself. Instead, decide exactly what effect you want to create, and let only that much energy manifest. Goku frowned, processing this. So instead of trying to contain my power and then release a small portion. Visualize the precise outcome you want, Vegeta confirmed. Let your intention shape the expression of your power, not the other way around. That's, actually really smart, Vegeta. Try not to sound so surprised, the prince grumbled, straightening with a grimace of pain. I've been refining my techniques for decades while you relied on brute force and dumb luck. Goku grinned, relieved that Vegeta's acerbic personality remained intact despite his injuries. Let me try again. If you must, Vegeta sighed dramatically. But perhaps aim somewhere else this time. I've proven my point. Goku turned toward a distant mountain peak. This time, instead of trying to gather a specific amount of energy, he simply visualized what he wanted, a precise hole through the center of the mountain, no wider than his fist. He pointed one finger and released his intention rather than his power. A pencil-thin beam of light shot from his fingertip. When it struck the mountain, it didn't explode or destroy the peak. Instead, it burned a perfect, narrow tunnel straight through the solid rock, exactly as he'd envisioned. It worked! Goku exclaimed. Of course it worked, Vegeta said, though he couldn't entirely hide his own amazement at the precision of the attack. You've always learned better through action than theory. Goku tried again, this time visualizing a series of small explosions that would carve a spiral pattern up the side of another peak. His energy responded perfectly, creating exactly the effect he'd imagined with no collateral damage. This is incredible, Vegeta. Goku turned to his rival, excitement lighting up his features. I think I actually have a chance at controlling this now. Vegeta nodded, satisfaction briefly replacing the permanent scowl on his face. Good. Because according to Whis, you'll need that control sooner rather than later. Goku's celebration faltered. What do you mean? Did something happen? Not yet. Vegeta's expression grew serious again. But Whis received a communication from the angels of other universes. Word is spreading about your condition. Questions are being asked. Concerns raised. About me? About what you represent, Kakarot. Vegeta crossed his arms, wincing slightly as the movement aggravated his injuries. A mortal with unlimited growth potential is unprecedented. It challenges the very hierarchy of the multiverse. Some entities find that threatening. Goku absorbed this silently. He'd been so focused on the immediate challenge of controlling his power that he hadn't fully considered the wider implications. If Korin was just the first response. How much time do you think we have before someone else comes? He asked. According to Whis. Days. Perhaps a week. Vegeta's gaze hardened. Which is why you need to master this quickly. The next visitor won't be as easily impressed as that three-eyed sentinel. And you'll help me? Vegeta held Goku's gaze for a long moment. When he finally spoke, his voice carried the weight of a decision long considered. Yes, Kakarot. I will help you. He raised one finger in warning. But not out of friendship or loyalty. I help you because the alternative is watching you destroy yourself and possibly this planet along with you. I help you because, despite everything, we are the last true Saiyans. And I help you. Because. He trailed off, seemingly struggling with the admission. Because? Goku prompted. Because if I cannot match your power, Vegeta finally said, then I will at least ensure you wield it with the pride and wisdom worthy of our race. Someone must keep you from becoming a mindless force of destruction. Coming from Vegeta, it was practically a declaration of eternal brotherhood. Goku felt a lump form in his throat. Thank you, he said simply. Don't thank me yet, Vegeta warned. The hard part is still to come. Now that you've begun to grasp directional control, we need to address the compounding aspect. Your power is still increasing by the minute. Eventually, even perfect control won't be enough if the underlying growth continues unchecked. Bulma's working on that part, Goku said. Trying to figure out how to restore the governor thing. And in the meantime, Goku looked out across the devastated landscape, evidence of his struggle to contain power that no mortal was meant to possess. In the distance, he could make out the perfect spiral pattern he'd carved into the mountainside, proof that control was possible, even as his strength continued to grow beyond comprehension. In the meantime, he said resolutely, we train. Not to get stronger, but to get smarter. Better. More precise. He turned back to Vegeta with newfound determination. If I'm stuck with unlimited power, then I'm going to make sure I'm worthy of it. Vegeta's mouth quirked in what might have been the ghost of a smile. Now you're finally beginning to sound like a true Scion warrior, Kakarot. As if in response to his resolve, Goku felt the churning storm of his power settle slightly, aligning itself more harmoniously with his intention. It was still growing, still compounding moment by moment, but now it felt less like a disaster waiting to happen and more like a tool, albeit the most dangerous tool in existence, waiting to be properly wielded. In the clear blue sky above them, neither Scion noticed the brief ripple in the fabric of reality, a small tear that opened and closed in an instant, allowing unseen watchers to glimpse the two warriors standing amidst the aftermath of Goku's power. Across dimensions, decisions were being made. Wheels were turning. And in the spaces between universes, ancient entities were beginning to stir, drawn by the unprecedented anomaly that Son Goku had become. The true test was yet to come. Chapter 2, Cosmic Attention. Beerus slammed his fist on the glowing table, sending cracked spiderwebbing across its ethereal surface. This is completely unacceptable. Around him, 11 other gods of destruction sat in floating thrones arranged in a perfect circle. Above them stretched an endless void dotted with swirling galaxies and newborn stars. The Divine Assembly, a meeting space between universes, hadn't been used in millennia. Calm yourself, Beerus, Kampa sneered from across the table. Just because you can't control the mortals in your universe, this goes beyond control. Beerus snapped back. The Scion broke through his cosmic governor. Do you understand what that means? Unlimited growth potential in a mortal vessel. We all understand the implications, Belmod said, leaning forward in his throne. His clown-like face had never looked less amused. The question is, what should be done about it? Destruction is the obvious answer, Romesh grunted, his elephant-like features twisted in disdain. One mortal life against universal stability. The calculation is simple. It's not that simple, Beerus growled. Son Goku has saved all our universes before. We owe him nothing, Quitella's high-pitched voice cut in, his mouse-like face twisted in a mocking smile. Besides, if he truly has unlimited potential, how long before he becomes more powerful than you, Beerus? Than all of us? Would you risk the cosmic hierarchy for one Scion? Silence fell across the assembly as each god of destruction considered the question. Their attendants, the angels, stood quietly behind each throne, faces carefully neutral though their eyes betrayed varying degrees of concern. The Cosmic Tribunal has already dispatched a sentinel, Vados, Kampa's attendant, finally observed. Their interest suggests this matter may already be beyond our jurisdiction. Nothing is beyond our jurisdiction. Beerus snarled. We are the gods of destruction. And yet, Whis spoke softly from behind Beerus, even gods have rules they must follow. Beerus shot his attendant an irritated glance but didn't contradict him. I propose observation rather than immediate action, Laquire suggested, his fox-like features thoughtful. If the mortal truly poses a threat to cosmic balance, evidence will manifest soon enough. And if that evidence comes in the form of a collapsed universe? Romesh demanded. The tribunal will act before that happens, Belmod said with certainty. They've never tolerated anomalies of this magnitude. Then perhaps the wisest course is to let them handle it, Helle said, brushing a strand of hair from her face. While we prepare contingencies. The implication hung in the air. Preparation. Contingencies. Code words for planning the destruction of Universe 7 if necessary. Beerus gripped the arms of his throne but said nothing. His yellow eyes blazed with barely controlled fury as he surveyed his fellow destroyers. Not one had spoken in defense of Goku. Not one seemed troubled by the prospect of obliterating an entire universe to eliminate a single anomaly. We will reconvene in 3 Earth days, Jin decided, his fish-like features unreadable. By then, we should have more data on the Scion's progression. As the assembly dispersed, the gods vanishing back to their respective universes, Whis placed a hand on Beerus's shoulder. Don't do anything rash, he cautioned. Beerus shrugged off the touch. They've already decided. They're just waiting for an excuse. Perhaps, Whis acknowledged. But decisions can change with circumstances. And circumstances. His staff glowed briefly, have a way of becoming quite complicated where Son Goku is concerned. Hold still. Chi-Chi ordered, scissors poised above Goku's head. I'm trying. Goku protested, perched uncomfortably on a kitchen chair. But every time you get close to my neck, it tickles. Your hair's grown 3 inches since yesterday, Chi-Chi muttered, snipping carefully. At this rate, you'll look like Raditz by the end of the week. Goku chuckled, then immediately regretted it as his movement caused Chi-Chi to nick his ear. Ow! I told you to hold still. She dabbed at the cut with a tissue, but frowned when she pulled it away. That's strange. You're not bleeding. Goku touched his ear. The small cut had already sealed itself. Sorry. Guess I'm healing pretty fast these days. Chi-Chi set down the scissors, placing her hands on her hips. Goku, this isn't normal. Even for you. I know. Goku ran a hand through his half-cut hair. But Vegeta's helping me get control of it. And Bulma's working on fixing the whole unlimited power thing. And in the meantime? Chi-Chi asked, her voice softer. What happens when you accidentally break something else? Or hurt someone without meaning to? Goku's expression sobered. 3 days of intensive training with Vegeta had improved his control dramatically, but they both knew it was a temporary solution. His power continued to grow by the hour. Every morning he woke up stronger than when he'd gone to bed. Keeping that ever-increasing strength in check required constant concentration. I'm being careful, he assured her. Super careful. As if to mock his words, the kitchen chair beneath him suddenly collapsed, splinters flying in all directions as the wood gave way under his gradually increasing density. Goku! Chi-Chi yelped. Sorry. He floated in place where the chair had been, rubbing his head sheepishly. I'll fix it. Chi-Chi sighed, looking at the broken chair. It was the 3rd piece of furniture to collapse under him this week. It's not about the chair, she said quietly. It's about everything. How can we have a normal life when you're becoming? She trailed off, unable to find the right word. Something else? Goku supplied, landing gently on the floor. Chi-Chi nodded, blinking back unexpected tears. I've supported you through every transformation, every battle, every death and resurrection. But this feels different. Like I'm losing you in a new way. Goku moved forward, carefully taking her hands in his. He focused intently on moderating his strength, treating her like the most delicate glass. You're not losing me, he said firmly. I'm still me. Just, more of me, I guess. And I'm figuring it out, I promise. Chi-Chi managed a small smile. I know you are. You always do. It's just hard watching from the sidelines. Goku was about to respond when a familiar energy signature appeared outside their house. He turned toward the door just as Gohan walked in, carrying a stack of papers. Hey Dad, Mom. Gohan nodded to them both, then raised an eyebrow at Goku's half-cut hair. Bad time. Just your father destroying more furniture, Chi-Chi sighed, but her tone had lightened. What brings you by? Bulma asked me to drop these off. Gohan set the papers on the table. She's been analyzing data from different points in Dad's life, every major transformation and power increase. She thinks if we can identify the pattern, we might understand how the governor mechanism works. Goku peered at the top sheet, which showed a complex graph with multiple colored lines. What am I looking at? Your power progression throughout your life, Gohan explained. See these plateaus? They show where your natural limits should have been, points where your power stabilized until you broke through to a new level. Goku nodded, vaguely following. And now there are no plateaus. Exactly. Your power just keeps climbing. Gohan flipped to another sheet. But Bulma found something interesting. The rate isn't consistent. It spikes whenever you fight or train, then slows, but never stops, during rest periods. So if I just sat around doing nothing, Goku started. You'd still get stronger, Gohan confirmed. Just more slowly. Which might buy us time to figure this out. Chi brightened. Does that mean you're staying home for a while? Goku opened his mouth to respond when suddenly the entire house trembled. Outside, birds took flight from the trees. In the distance, a thunderous boom echoed across the mountains. Gohan tensed. What was that? Goku's expression hardened as he extended his senses outward. Trouble. Big trouble. Without another word, he placed 2 fingers to his forehead and vanished. The crater stretched nearly a mile wide, centered where Satan City's main square had stood moments before. Buildings teetered on the edge of the massive depression, foundations crumbling as sirens wailed in the distance. At the center stood a single figure. Goku materialized at the crater's edge, immediately assessing the situation. No civilian casualties, the attack had come with enough warning for people to evacuate. The destruction was precise, almost surgical in its application. And the power signature. Not from this universe, he muttered, locking eyes with the figure below. She, for it was clearly female despite her alien appearance, stood calmly amidst the devastation. Nearly 7 feet tall, her skin was deep purple with white, bone-like protrusions extending from her shoulders, elbows and knees. She wore no conventional armor, only a tight-fitting bodysuit that seemed to shift and pulse with its own inner light. Her face was almost human, save for pupilless silver eyes. And a crown of short, blade-like horns instead of hair. Son Goku, she called up to him, her voice melodious despite its volume. I was beginning to think I'd need to destroy another city to get your attention. Goku dropped into the crater, landing 20 feet from the alien woman. You've got it now. Who are you, and what do you want? My name is Valora. She spread her arms in a gesture that might have been welcoming if not for the razor-sharp blades extending from her wrists. I am the solution to your problem. I don't remember asking for help, Goku replied, his voice deceptively casual as he assessed her power level. It was massive, comparable to a god of destruction, but something about it felt artificial, engineered rather than natural. That's because you don't yet understand the nature of your problem, Scion. Valora began to circle him slowly. The Sentinel Koran was sent to diagnose. I have been sent to treat. By the Cosmic Tribunal? Goku maintained his position but turned to keep facing her. They work fast. Valora laughed, a sound like crystal wind chimes. The tribunal is methodical. Thorough. They do not rush to judgment. Her silver eyes narrowed. But when judgment comes, it is absolute. And what exactly is their judgment in my case? Containment, Valora said simply. Or failing that, elimination. Goku's expression hardened. Those don't sound like options I'm interested in. They are not options at all. Valora stopped her circling. They are outcomes. The only question is which you prefer. Before Goku could respond, a familiar energy signature appeared at the crater's edge. Vegeta landed heavily, immediately taking in the situation. Another cosmic enforcer, he called down. This one seems more direct than the last. Ah, another Scion. Valora's smile widened unnaturally. How convenient. 2 abominations with 1 intervention. Vegeta bristled. Abomination? Your species was never meant to achieve the power levels you have reached, Valora explained, her tone almost educational. The Scion genetic structure was specifically designed with built-in limitations. Designed? Goku frowned. What do you mean, designed? You believed yourselves to be natural evolutionary products. Valora laughed again. Oh, the cosmic joke of it all. The mighty Scion race, terror of galaxies, pride of Universe 7, nothing more than a failed experiment in controlled aggression. Vegeta's aura flared blue as rage contorted his features. You lie. I have no need for lies, princeling. Valoris' voice hardened. I was there. I observed the early Scion generations. Monitored their development. Reported their progress to my superiors. And what were you monitoring us for? Goku asked, placing a restraining hand on Vegeta's shoulder. Balance, Valora replied simply. The Scions were created as a counterweight, a species with tremendous fighting potential that would never quite reach godhood. Your aggression was meant to cull weaker species. Your pride designed to prevent cooperation that might lead to collective advancement. Your Zenkai ability carefully calibrated to create powerful warriors who would remain safely within mortal parameters. Vegeta trembled with fury beneath Goku's hand. Our entire history, our planet, our civilization, all some cosmic experiment. A failed one, Valora corrected. First your ancestors developed that troublesome transformation, Super Saiyan. A genetic anomaly that should have been corrected immediately. Then your numbers were reduced, minimizing genetic diversity and creating statistical outliers. She gestured to them both. And now this, a complete breakdown of the governor mechanism in one specimen, threatening the very stability it was meant to ensure. Goku processed this revelation with surprising calm. So that's why you're here. To correct the failure. Precisely. Valoris' blade-like fingers flexed. Though I admit, I volunteered specifically for this assignment. I've always found science fascinating. So much potential, such fundamental flaws. You seem to know a lot about us, Goku noted. But we know nothing about you. I am Valora, last of the architects, hunter of anomalies. She bowed mockingly. I have ended more species than you have met individuals, Scion. When cosmic balance requires surgical precision rather than brute destruction, I am the instrument of choice. Without warning, she moved, so fast that even Goku barely tracked her. One moment she stood 20 feet away, the next, her bladed hand slashed across Goku's chest. Or would have, if he hadn't sidestepped at the last possible instant. Even so, he felt the displaced air against his skin, heard the whistle of the blade passing mere millimeters from his heart. Fast, he acknowledged, dropping into a fighting stance. But not fast enough. Valora didn't seem disappointed by her failed strike. If anything, she looked pleased. Good reflexes. The reports were accurate. She raised her bladed arms. This will be more interesting than I anticipated. Vegeta stepped forward. Kakarot, let me handle this. You need to conserve your strength. And deprive me of both targets? Valora's smile widened. How discourteous. Without further warning, she attacked again, but this time, she targeted Vegeta. The prince barely had time to raise his guard before her blade struck, moving in complex patterns designed to find any gap in his defense. Vegeta matched her speed, his arms blurring as he blocked and countered. Not bad, he grunted, managing to land a solid kick to her midsection. Valora skidded backward but seemed unfazed by the blow. A warrior prince indeed. But ultimately irrelevant to my mission. She raised one hand toward the crater's edge, where a crowd of civilians and emergency responders had gathered to witness the confrontation. Energy gathered at her fingertips, deadly, concentrated, and clearly aimed at the innocent bystanders. No! Goku shouted. The energy blast launched from Valora's hand, only to be intercepted by Vegeta, who teleported into its path. The explosion engulfed him completely. Vegeta. Goku's concern turned to confusion as the smoke cleared, revealing Vegeta completely unharmed within a perfect sphere of blue energy. I told you, Vegeta said, his voice steady despite the effort evident on his face. I've been working on precision. Valora's silver eyes narrowed. Interesting. The secondary specimen has developed unusual defensive capabilities. I'm not a specimen, Vegeta snarled, lowering his energy shield. I'm the prince of all scions. And you've made a critical error. Oh. Vellora seemed genuinely curious. You revealed your purpose before securing your victory, Vegeta explained, a dangerous smile spreading across his face. Always a tactical mistake. Goku stepped forward, his expression now matching Vegeta's determination. You're right about one thing, Vellora. There is a problem that needs solving. His aura began to flare, white light tinged with gold. But I'm not the problem. Threats against innocent people. That's a problem. Cosmic bullies enforcing their idea of balance. That's a problem. You fundamentally misunderstand your place in the cosmic order, Scion, Vellora said, her amused tone fading. You are immortal. A temporary arrangement of matter and energy. The order I serve has existed since the first moment of creation and will continue long after the last star burns out. Maybe so, Goku acknowledged. But right now, you're threatening my home. And that's all that matters to me. He glanced at Vegeta, who gave an almost imperceptible nod. They had trained for this, coordinated attacks designed to minimize Goku's power output while maximizing effectiveness. They moved simultaneously, attacking from opposite sides. Vegeta launched a barrage of precision energy blasts, each targeting specific points around Vellora rather than directly at her. Goku, meanwhile, charged straight in, fists blurring as he pressed a physical attack. Vellora responded with inhuman grace, her body twisting and contorting to avoid both threats simultaneously. Her bladed arms deflected Goku's strikes while her legs kicked out to disrupt the pattern of Vegeta's energy attacks. Impressive coordination, she acknowledged, backflipping away from them both. But futile. The white protrusions on her body suddenly extended, growing into foot-long spikes that covered her from head to toe. With a gesture, dozens of these spikes detached and flew toward the Scions like guided missiles. Scatter! Vegeta shouted, taking to the air. Goku remained grounded, focusing on Vegeta's training. Don't contain the power, direct it. Visualize exactly what you want to happen. He raised one hand and released a pulse of invisible energy that intercepted every spike mid-flight, disintegrating them instantly. Fascinating, Vellora murmured. Such fine control despite such raw power. I'm full of surprises, Goku said, allowing himself a small smile. Indeed. But so am I. Vellora slammed both fists into the ground. The entire crater shimmered, the very air seeming to solidify around them. Goku found himself suddenly immobilized, encased in what felt like invisible concrete. Dimensional anchor, Vellora explained, straightening. A specialty of mine. It temporarily solidifies the spatial coordinates around a target, rendering movement impossible. Vegeta, still airborne, dove toward her, only to crash into a similar invisible barrier 10 feet above the ground. Did you think I'd forget about you, Princeling? Vellora called up to him. What is this? Vegeta demanded, struggling against his invisible prison. As I said, a dimensional anchor. It will hold even beings of your power level for approximately 30 seconds. Vellora approached Goku's immobilized form. More than enough time. She raised one bladed hand to Goku's throat. The tribunal authorized your elimination if containment proved impossible. But I've developed a certain, professional curiosity. So I'll offer you one chance, anomaly. Submit to containment willingly, and you may continue existing, albeit in a controlled environment. Goku stared directly into her silver eyes. And if I refuse? Then I sever your connection to this dimensional plane, she said simply. Your consciousness will be scattered across infinite realities, never to reform. A relatively painless end, all things considered. That's a tough choice, Goku admitted. Then he smiled. But I've got a third option in mind. Oh. Vellora's blade pressed against his skin, drawing a single drop of blood. And what might that be? Breaking your fancy anchor. Goku closed his eyes, focusing inward. The ever-growing well of power inside him responded instantly to his need. He didn't fight against the invisible restraints, instead, he expanded his energy in all directions simultaneously, like a balloon inflating within a too small container. The dimensional anchor creaked, strained, and shattered. Valora barely had time to register surprise before Goku's fist connected with her midsection, sending her flying backward across the crater. The disruption of her concentration released Vegeta as well, who immediately dropped to Goku's side. Now would be a good time for that technique we practiced, Vegeta suggested quietly. Goku nodded. Cover me for 3 seconds. Vegeta launched forward, engaging Valora in close combat as she recovered from Goku's strike. Meanwhile, Goku placed 2 fingers to his forehead, but rather than teleporting, he focused on gathering energy in a very specific pattern. Valora knocked Vegeta aside with a vicious backhand and turned toward Goku, her silver eyes widening at what she sensed. "What are you, something new?" Goku interrupted. He extended his hand, palm outward. Dimensional reflection. A mirror-like disk of energy formed between them, its surface rippling like disturbed water. Valora recognized the danger too late. Her own dimensional manipulation technique, the anchor she had used moments before, was being turned against her, reflected and amplified. Impossible, she gasped as the rippling energy engulfed her. A mortal cannot manipulate dimensional fabric. "I'm a fast learner," Goku said, maintaining his concentration. "And you showed me how it works." The energy sphere around Valora contracted, compressing until it was barely larger than her body. Within, she struggled visibly, her own dimensional powers fighting against the reflection of her technique. "This won't hold me for long," she warned, her voice distorted by the energy field. "And when I break free, you'll what?" Vegeta interrupted, wiping blood from his mouth as he rejoined Goku. "Threaten more innocent people. Try to kill us again. We've heard it all before." "You don't understand what's at stake," Valora insisted, the energy sphere around her beginning to crack. "The anomaly must be contained or cosmic balance will adapt," Goku finished for her. "The universe has survived gods, destroyers, even Xeno erasing entire realities. It can handle one scion with a little extra juice." The energy sphere shattered as Valora finally broke free, her silver eyes blazing with cold fury. But instead of attacking again, she floated upward, rising above the crater. "You've made your choice, anomaly," she said, her voice now eerily calm. "But know this, what comes next is beyond my authority. Beyond even the tribunal's reach." Goku tensed. "What do you mean?" "The universe itself has ways of correcting imbalances too severe for its appointed guardians to address." Valora's body began to shimmer, as if preparing to depart. "You've rejected containment. Survived elimination. The final protocol has now been initiated. More cosmic enforcers." Vegeta scoffed. "No, Princeling." For the first time, Valora's expression showed something like pity. "Something far worse. Equilibria has awakened." Before either scion could question her further, Valora vanished in a flash of light that momentarily blinded them both. When their vision cleared, they stood alone in the massive crater, emergency vehicles and curious onlookers gathering at its edge. "What the hell is Equilibria?" Vegeta muttered. Goku shook his head. "I don't know. But I've got a feeling we're going to find out soon." A familiar whooshing sound announced Whisa's arrival. The angel descended into the crater, his expression unusually grave. "I see Valora has paid you a visit," he observed, surveying the destruction. "And departed without resolving her mission. Most unusual." "You know her?" Goku asked. "By reputation only," Whis replied. "She is quite ancient, even by cosmic standards. One of the original architects tasked with establishing balance in the early universe." "She said the scions were designed," Vegeta said, his voice tight with controlled anger. "Created as some kind of experiment." Whis sighed. Many races were shaped in the universe's infancy, Vegeta. It doesn't diminish what the scions became. She also mentioned something called equilibria, Goku interjected. Said it had awakened. Any idea what that means? The question caused Whis' normally composed features to register genuine alarm. She said those exact words. Equilibria has awakened. Yeah. Sounded pretty ominous. Whis' staff materialized in his hand, glowing urgently. We must return to Beerus immediately. This development changes everything. Why? What is equilibria? Vegeta demanded. Not what, Whis corrected, his voice uncharacteristically somber. Who? And if Valora speaks truly, we have very little time to prepare. Beerus's planet shimmered under its perpetual purple sky, the massive dead tree at its center casting long shadows across the grass. Seated beneath the tree, Beerus himself appeared unusually contemplative, his ears twitching occasionally as he stared into the distance. You felt it too, then? He asked without turning as Whis appeared with Goku and Vegeta in tow. Yes, Lord Beerus. Whis stepped forward, his staff planted firmly beside him. The disturbance in the cosmic fabric. Valora has triggered the final protocol. Then we're too late, Beerus sighed, finally turning to face them. His yellow eyes fixed on Goku. Your little anomaly has escalated beyond even my jurisdiction, Scion. That's what everyone keeps saying, Goku replied, frustrated. But nobody's explaining what's actually happening. Beerus rose, stretching leisurely despite the apparent gravity of the situation. What's happening is that you've attracted the attention of a being that predates the gods of destruction. One that even we are forbidden to interfere with. Equilibria, Vegeta said. Precisely. Beerus nodded. The embodiment of cosmic balance itself. Neither good nor evil, but utterly dedicated to maintaining the fundamental laws that allow reality to function. And I've broken one of those laws, Goku surmised. The most important one, from Equilibria's perspective. Beerus circled around them, his tail swishing in agitation. The law that keeps mortals mortal and gods divine. The separation between temporary beings and eternal ones. Whis tapped his staff, creating a holographic display above them. It showed a series of concentric circles, each labeled with different types of beings. Reality is structured in layers, he explained. Mortals at the center, their power limited by natural lifespans and physical constraints. Then Kais, who guide creation. Gods of destruction, who maintain necessary entropy. Angels, who observe and report. And beyond us, entities like the Grand Priest and Zeno, who oversee the entire system. Each layer has defined parameters, Beerus continued. Boundaries that cannot be crossed without destabilizing the entire structure. And I'm crossing boundaries, Goku said, beginning to understand. Your power growth has no ceiling, no plateau, no limit, Whis confirmed. Left unchecked, you will eventually surpass not just the gods of destruction, but potentially every being in every layer. Such a scenario is. He paused, searching for words. Catastrophic, Beerus finished bluntly. It would collapse the entire cosmic hierarchy, potentially destabilizing reality itself. Vegeta crossed his arms. So this equilibria exists to prevent such scenarios? Equilibria is the universe's immune system, Whis explained. When a threat to cosmic balance emerges that cannot be handled through normal means, sentinels, hunters like Valora, even the gods themselves, equilibria awakens to neutralize it directly. And by neutralize, you mean? Goku trailed off. Whatever is necessary, Beerus said grimly. Usually destruction, though not always of the physical kind. Sometimes equilibria merely rewrites the offending anomaly. Changes its fundamental nature to restore balance. Goku absorbed this silently. He'd faced universe-ending threats before, fought gods and demons and everything in between. But this felt different, not an enemy to be defeated through strength or skill, but a fundamental force of reality itself responding to his very existence. When will it come? He finally asked. Soon, Whis replied. The awakening process has already begun. We felt the ripples across all 12 universes. Can it be fought? Vegeta asked, ever practical. Defeated? Beerus and Whis exchanged glances. Technically, yes, Whis admitted. Equilibria manifests in physical form to interact with the material universe. That manifestation can theoretically be overcome. But, Beerus added, no one ever has. Not in all of recorded cosmic history. And trust me, that's a very, very long time. Goku's expression hardened with familiar determination. Well, there's a first time for everything. This isn't like your other battles, Goku, Beerus warned. Equilibria isn't evil. It's not trying to destroy for destruction's sake. It's maintaining the structure that allows all existence, including yours, to function. If it's coming to erase me or rewrite me or whatever, it sure feels like an enemy from where I'm standing, Goku countered. Whis sighed. There may be alternatives to direct confrontation. Equilibria is absolute in its purpose but flexible in its methods. If we could demonstrate that your anomalous nature poses no threat to cosmic balance. How do we do that? Vegeta asked. I'm not entirely certain, Whis admitted. This situation is unprecedented. But Equilibria judges based on potential outcomes, not merely current conditions. If we could somehow prove that Goku's unlimited growth serves balance rather than threatens it. That's a tough sell, Beerus snorted. How does unlimited power in mortal hands ever serve balance? Through its application, a new voice interrupted. They all turned to see Gohan approaching across the grass, accompanied by Piccolo, Bulma, and surprisingly, Supreme Kai. Sorry for the intrusion, Supreme Kai said with a quick bow to Beerus. But we felt this discussion required additional perspective. Beerus raised an eyebrow but didn't object to their presence. And what perspective might that be? Historical, Supreme Kai replied. Equilibria has been awakened before, rarely, but it has happened. And not every encounter ended in destruction. Really? Whis looked genuinely surprised. The records available to Angels mention only interventions resulting in neutralization. Angel's record order, Supreme Kai said with a small smile. Kai's record exceptions. The moments when balance was restored through means other than elimination. Such as? Vegeta prompted impatiently. Integration, Supreme Kai answered. In at least 3 documented cases, Equilibria chose to incorporate anomalies into the cosmic framework rather than destroy them. To make them part of the balance rather than exceptions to it. How? Goku asked, hope kindling for the first time since learning of this new threat. By assigning them cosmic purpose, Supreme Kai explained. A role, a function within the greater design that justified their exceptional nature. Bulma stepped forward, tablet in hand. We've been researching this since Whis alerted us about the situation. According to Kai records, beings that demonstrated both great power and great wisdom were sometimes granted exemptions from standard limitations, provided they accepted corresponding responsibilities. What kind of responsibilities? Goku asked warily. Varied, Supreme Kai answered. Guardian of dimensional boundaries. Overseer of power distribution. Watcher of cosmic anomalies. Roles that turn the exception into a feature of the system, rather than a threat to it. Beerus frowned thoughtfully. It's possible. Unorthodox, but possible. If Goku could demonstrate both the control and wisdom necessary. He can, Gohan interjected firmly. My father has always risen to meet whatever challenge he faces. This is just a different kind of challenge. Goku looked at his son, touched by the confidence. Thanks, Gohan. But I'm not sure wisdom has ever been my strong point. Wisdom isn't knowing everything, Piccolo spoke up. It's understanding what matters most and acting accordingly. You've always had that, Goku, even when you make decisions others don't understand. Vegeta made a sound that might have been agreement, though he would never admit it aloud. So the plan is to convince this cosmic force of nature to give Kakarot a job instead of erasing him? Vegeta summarized skeptically. Sounds absurdly optimistic, even by your standards. You have a better idea? Bulma challenged, hands on her hips. Actually, yes. Vegeta turned to Whis. You said equilibria manifests physically to interact with our universe. That manifestation can be fought, theoretically. Theoretically, Whis emphasized. But, so we prepare for both possibilities, Vegeta interrupted. Attempt this, negotiation. But be ready for battle if it fails. Beerus nodded slowly. The Scion Prince makes a valid point. Hope for integration, prepare for confrontation. How much time do we have? Goku asked. Hours, perhaps, Whis replied grimly. The dimensional barriers are already thinning. Equilibria gathers its consciousness from across multiple reality layers, a process that cannot be rushed, but is certainly underway. Then we need to decide where this meeting happens, Goku said decisively. Somewhere away from Earth, away from innocent people. There is a nexus point between dimensions approximately 2 million miles from this planet, Whis suggested. A natural thinning in the cosmic fabric where transitions between reality layers occur more easily. Equilibria will likely choose such a location for manifestation. Then that's where we'll be waiting, Goku declared. He turned to his friends and family. But not all of us. This is my problem. I don't want anyone else at risk. Don't be absurd, Kakarot, Vegeta scoffed. You think any of us would let you face this alone? He's right, Dad, Gohan added. We stand a better chance together, even if just to support your case for integration, or whatever we're calling it. Besides, Bulma chimed in with a confident smile, I've been working on something that might help. A device that could temporarily stabilize your energy output, not stop your growth, but prevent the uncontrolled surges that seem most concerning from a cosmic perspective. Will it work? Goku asked hopefully. Maybe. Probably. Possibly. Bulma shrugged. It's based on analyzing your energy patterns over time. It should create a harmonic resonance that smooths out the spikes while allowing the underlying growth to continue. Worth a try, Goku decided. He looked around at the determined faces surrounding him, friends, family, even former enemies united in purpose. Okay. We present a united front. Show Equilibria that my condition has purpose and control behind it. And if that fails, Vegeta added grimly, we fight with everything we have. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Supreme Kai said softly. Even with your unlimited potential, Goku, some forces are not meant to be opposed directly. We'll see, Goku replied, his expression set with familiar determination. I've been told what I can't do my whole life. Somehow it always works out anyway. In the hours that followed, preparations unfolded with urgent efficiency. On Beerus's planet, away from Earth's populated areas, they gathered resources and finalized plans. Bulma worked feverishly to complete her stabilization device, a sleek metal band designed to fit around Goku's wrist. She made adjustments and ran simulations while Gohan and Supreme Kai pored over ancient texts, searching for any additional information about previous Equilibria encounters. Piccolo and Vegeta sparred with Goku, helping him refine his control techniques. With each passing hour, Goku's power continued to grow, but his ability to direct it with precision improved as well. Where before he had struggled to moderate his strength for simple tasks, he could now manipulate his energy with surgical precision, creating effects exactly as visualized without wasted output. Better, Vegeta acknowledged after Goku successfully threaded a beam of energy through a complex obstacle course Whis had created. But you're still thinking too much. When the real confrontation comes, you won't have time for calculation. I know, Goku agreed, wiping sweat from his brow. It needs to become instinct. Exactly. Vegeta crossed his arms. The difference between a novice and a master isn't knowledge, it's integration. Making the knowledge part of yourself, so it's available without conscious thought. Goku looked at his rival with newfound respect. When did you get so philosophical? Vegeta smirked. While you were busy breaking the universe, some of us were actually training our minds as well as our bodies. Speaking of breaking the universe, Bulma interrupted, approaching with the completed wristband. This is ready for testing. The device gleamed silver in the purple light of Beerus's world. Complex circuitry visible beneath its translucent surface pulsed with gentle blue energy. How does it work? Goku asked, examining it curiously. It creates a harmonic counterfrequency to your energy's natural oscillation pattern, Bulma explained. Think of it like noise-canceling headphones, but for power output. It won't reduce your actual strength, but it should prevent the random surges and spillover that might be most concerning from a cosmic stability perspective. And it won't explode this time? Vegeta asked dryly, referring to the 3 previous prototypes that had done exactly that when exposed to Goku's energy. 4th time's the charm, Bulma replied with forced confidence. I've incorporated some of Whis' suggestions on dimensional buffering. In theory, it should be able to handle the load. Goku shrugged and slipped the band onto his wrist. Only one way to find out. The device hummed softly as it made contact with his skin, its blue lights shifting to purple, then red, before stabilizing to a steady amber glow. Goku tensed, waiting for the familiar sensation of explosion, but nothing happened. I think it's working, he said cautiously. Bulma consulted her tablet, which displayed a real-time analysis of Goku's energy output. Readings are stabilizing. The random spikes are being smoothed out, just as intended. She allowed herself a triumphant smile. We did it. How does it feel? Gohan asked, approaching to inspect the device on his father's wrist. Weird, Goku admitted. Like, wearing tight clothes. My power is still there, still growing, but it's not pushing outward as much. That's the point, Bulma confirmed. You're still you, just more, contained. Will it be enough to convince Equilibria? Piccolo asked the question on everyone's mind. That depends entirely on Equilibria's criteria for judgment, Supreme Kai answered. The text suggested evaluates anomalies based not just on their nature, but on their purpose and potential impact. If Goku can demonstrate that his unlimited growth serves a cosmic function, what function could possibly justify unlimited power? Vegeta challenged. Even gods of destruction have limits. Perhaps that's the point, Whis mused, joining their conversation. Every existing cosmic role has defined parameters, strengths and limitations carefully balanced. Perhaps what's needed is a new role, one specifically designed for a being with Goku's unique characteristics. Like what? Goku asked. That's for you to determine, Whis replied with a gentle smile. What do you want your purpose to be, Goku? If you could define your own cosmic function, what would it entail? Goku fell silent, genuinely considering the question. Throughout his life, he'd fought for many reasons, the thrill of battle, the protection of loved ones, the defense of Earth, the survival of the universe. But a cosmic purpose? A function within the greater design of reality? That was something he'd never considered. I don't know, he admitted finally. I've always just wanted to get stronger, to test myself against tougher opponents. To protect what matters to me. Perhaps that's not enough anymore, Beerus observed, joining them. With unlimited potential comes greater responsibility. The cosmos doesn't tolerate power without purpose. Then I need to find my purpose, Goku declared. Before Equilibria arrives. You may have less time than you think, Whis said suddenly, his staff glowing with urgent light. The dimensional barriers are thinning rapidly. Equilibria approaches. They all turned toward the sky, where reality itself seemed to waver like heat above pavement. Colors shifted, stars visible despite the daylight flickered and rearranged themselves in impossible patterns. "It's time," Beerus announced. "The nexus point was mentioned, we need to be there now." "I can take us," Goku offered, raising 2 fingers to his forehead. "Just give me something to lock onto." Whis tapped his staff, creating a pinpoint of light that hovered before them. "Focus on this energy signature. It marks the nexus point." Goku nodded, concentrating on the signature while extending his awareness to include everyone around him. "Everyone stay close. This is going to be a longer jump than usual." They gathered around him, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Supreme Kai, Whis, and Beerus. Bulma stepped back reluctantly. "I should stay here," she said. "Monitor the stabilizer remotely and provide technical support if needed." Goku nodded gratefully. "Thanks, Bulma. For everything." "Just come back in one piece," she replied, forcing a smile. "All of you." With a final nod, Goku focused on the energy signature Whis had provided. The instant transmission technique engaged, and they vanished from Beerus's planet. They materialized in emptiness. Not the vacuum of space, exactly, but something more fundamental, a void between realities, where the laws of physics existed as mere suggestions rather than absolute rules. Around them stretched an endless expanse of shifting colors and half-formed shapes, like a universe still being sketched by its creator. "The nexus point," Whis confirmed, his voice echoing strangely in the dimensional pocket. "Where multiple layers of reality intersect." "Now what?" Vegeta demanded, turning in a slow circle to survey their surroundings. "We just wait." "We won't have to wait long," Beerus said quietly, his ears flattening against his head as he sensed something beyond mortal perception. The void before them began to ripple, reality folding inward upon itself like origami. Colors both familiar and impossible swirled into a central point, coalescing into a form that somehow managed to appear both solid and fluid simultaneously. Equilibria had arrived. Its manifestation defied easy description. At first glance, it appeared humanoid, 2 arms, 2 legs, a head, but with proportions that shifted subtly moment by moment, as if unable to settle on a fixed form. Its skin, if it could be called that, resembled liquid metal in constant motion, reflecting the surrounding void while simultaneously emitting its own inner light. Where a face should be, there existed only a smooth surface occasionally rippling with symbols that appeared and vanished too quickly to comprehend. When it spoke, the sound came from everywhere at once, bypassing their ears to resonate directly in their minds. Anomaly. A single word, yet it carried the weight of cosmic authority. Goku felt his very atoms vibrate in response to that voice, his unlimited power surging against Bulma's stabilizer, which glowed brightly as it struggled to maintain harmony. "I'm Son Goku," he replied, stepping forward from the group. "And I guess you're Equilibria." The featureless face rippled, symbols flowing across its surface like water. "Names are irrelevant. Function is all." "Then what's your function?" Goku asked directly. "Balance." The entity's form shifted slightly, growing taller. "Correction of deviations. Maintenance of cosmic order." "And I'm a deviation," Goku surmised. "The most significant in 17 billion years." The entity's tone remained neutral, neither angry nor judging. "Simply stating facts. A mortal vessel with unlimited growth potential. An impossibility made manifest." Supreme Kai stepped forward, bowing deeply. "Great Equilibria, we have come to, your presence is noted, creation god. But unnecessary." Equilibria's attention remained fixed on Goku. "This matter concerns the anomaly directly." "He has a name," Gohan interjected, unable to contain himself. "My father is a person, not just an anomaly." The featureless face turned slightly toward Gohan, symbols swirling more rapidly. "Interesting. The offspring defends the progenitor. Attachment. Emotion. Mortal concerns. Yeah, mortal concerns, Goku agreed, moving to stand between Equilibria and Gohan. The things that actually matter. Family. Friends. Home. Those aren't deviations, they're what we live for. Irrelevant to cosmic balance. Equilibria's form rippled again, arms extending slightly. Your growth cannot continue unchecked. The structure of reality depends on established parameters for each category of existence. We understand the concern, Whis intervened smoothly. But perhaps there are alternatives to correction that would satisfy balance requirements while respecting the anomalies, Son Goku's, unique nature. Equilibria went still, its fluid form momentarily freezing in place. Alternatives exist only where balance can be maintained through integration rather than correction. Integration, Goku repeated, seizing on the word. Like giving me a cosmic function that justifies unlimited power. Symbols swirled rapidly across Equilibria's featureless face, perhaps the entity's equivalent of surprise. You are aware of precedent. We've done our homework, Beerus remarked dryly. Integration requires purpose commensurate with exception, Equilibria stated. What purpose justifies unlimited potential in a mortal vessel? This was the question they had anticipated, the central challenge. And despite hours of preparation, Goku still wasn't entirely sure of his answer. He glanced back at his friends, seeking inspiration, and found them watching with expressions of complete faith. Even Vegeta nodded slightly, a rare gesture of support. Goku turned back to Equilibria, suddenly certain of what he needed to say. Balance, he stated firmly. The entity's form shimmered with what might have been confusion. Explain. You maintain balance between cosmic forces, between the layers of reality, Goku said, the words coming more easily than he'd expected. But who maintains balance within those layers? Who ensures that power doesn't corrupt even the gods themselves? Equilibria remained silent, symbols flowing more slowly across its face. I've fought gods of destruction, Goku continued. I've faced immortals who abused their power. I've even stood before Zeno himself. And what I've learned is that every layer of reality, every category of existence you're trying to protect, can become unbalanced from within. You can't contain mortal power. I get that. But sometimes, do you know what the universe needs? Goku stepped closer to the cosmic entity, his expression intensifying. It needs someone who can challenge a corrupt god of destruction. Someone who can stand up to a power-mad Supreme Kai. Someone who isn't bound by the rules of any single layer of existence. He makes a valid point, Equilibria acknowledged, its mental voice now directed to the group as a whole. Internal balance within layers is maintained primarily through opposition of equal forces. When imbalance occurs within a category, there's no recourse except to higher authorities, who may have their own agendas, Vegeta finished. What Kakarot represents is a wild card, a power that grows in response to need, unconstrained by category limitations. Exactly, Goku nodded gratefully to Vegeta. My whole life, I've grown stronger when I needed to be. Not for myself, but to protect others. To maintain balance in my own way. He gestured to the stabilizer on his wrist. And I'm learning to control it, to direct it purposefully rather than wastefully. Equilibria's form shifted again, growing more complex as multiple limbs briefly manifested before reabsorbing into the main body. It seemed to be considering, evaluating. Intention is noted. Potential function is recognized. The entity's mental voice grew more layered, as if multiple perspectives were speaking simultaneously. But unconstrained growth remains problematic. Limitations must exist, even for exceptions. What kind of limitations? Goku asked cautiously. Constraints appropriate to function. If your purpose is internal balance maintenance, power expression must be proportional to imbalance addressed. Goku frowned, trying to parse the meaning. So, I would only be able to use as much power as needed to restore balance. No more, no less. Precisely. Equilibria's form stabilized somewhat, settling into a more definitively humanoid shape. Unlimited growth potential would remain, but activation would be triggered by cosmic necessity rather than personal will. And who decides what's necessary? Vegeta challenged. You. The cosmic law of proportional response, Equilibria answered. An objective standard that governs all balancing agents, including myself. Goku considered this carefully. It wasn't perfect, the freedom to use his power however he wished would be curtailed. But it was far better than the alternatives of destruction or complete limitation. If I accept this role, this function, he asked, what exactly would my responsibilities be? Observation. Intervention when cosmic layers experience internal corruption. Restoration of equilibrium within categories. The entity's form rippled again. You would become a balancer, not between layers as I am, but within them. A cosmic troubleshooter, was translated, sounding almost amused. Called upon when gods or immortals abuse their positions. Not so different from what I already do, Goku realized. Just on a bigger scale. There would be rules, though, Supreme Kai cautioned. Cosmic laws that even exceptions must follow. The responsibility would be enormous. When has Kakarot ever shied away from responsibility? Vegeta asked, surprising everyone with his defense. He's saved the universe more times than any of us can count. Usually while grinning like an idiot. Hey! Goku protested, though he couldn't help smiling at Vegeta's backhanded compliment. Equilibria's form pulsed with energy, drawing their attention back. Decision is required. Integration or correction. Goku took a deep breath, glancing once more at his friends and family. Gohan nodded encouragement. Piccolo gave a solemn tilt of his head. Beerus looked vaguely bored, though his twitching ears betrayed his tension. Whis smiled enigmatically. And Vegeta simply crossed his arms and grunted, which in his language was practically a standing ovation. I accept, Goku declared, turning back to Equilibria. I'll take on this role, this function. I'll be your, internal balancer, or whatever you want to call it. Designation, Equilibrium Sentinel, Internal Affairs. Equilibria's form began to glow more intensely. Integration process will now commence. Before Goku could ask what that meant, Equilibria moved, or rather, flowed, toward him with liquid grace. Its metallic form enveloped him completely, like being submerged in quicksilver. Goku! Gohan shouted in alarm. Wait, Whis cautioned, holding out an arm to prevent interference. This is the integration. It's necessary. Within the metallic cocoon, Goku felt Equilibria's consciousness mesh with his own, not invasively, but like two streams merging to form a river. Information flooded his mind, cosmic laws, dimensional constants, the precise mechanisms by which balance was maintained across reality layers. More than information, understanding. Comprehension beyond what his mortal brain should have been able to process. Then came the adjustments. His unlimited potential remained intact, but new structures formed around it, channels, pathways, constraints that would govern how and when that potential expressed itself. The governor mechanism wasn't being restored, it was being replaced with something more sophisticated. Not a ceiling, but a regulatory system. When Equilibria finally withdrew, flowing back from Goku's body like receding tide, he remained standing, changed in ways both profound and subtle. His appearance was identical, save for a faint silvery sheen to his eyes that faded even as the others watched. Goku? Gohan approached. Cautiously. Are you okay? Yeah, Goku said, his voice normal but somehow carrying new resonance. I'm more than okay, actually. I understand now. Understand what? Vegeta demanded. Everything. Goku looked around at the nexus point with new perception, seeing layers of reality that had been invisible before. The structure. The balance. How it all fits together. A side effect of integration, Whis explained to the others. Cosmic awareness appropriate to the new function. Equilibria, now separate from Goku, had stabilized into a more definitively humanoid form. Its featureless face now displayed a single symbol, a balanced scale. Integration complete. Equilibrium Sentinel designated. The entity's mental voice seemed satisfied. You retain unlimited growth potential, but its expression is now governed by cosmic necessity. Power will manifest in proportion to imbalance addressed. I understand, Goku nodded. And he truly did, with a clarity that would have been impossible before the integration. Your anomalous nature is now incorporated into cosmic structure. Equilibria began to fade, its form becoming transparent. You are no longer a deviation, but a function. Balance is restored. Wait, Goku called. What happens now? Do I just go back to my life? Wait for some cosmic imbalance to trigger my new role. Equilibria's fading form pulsed once more. Live as you have lived. Protect as you have protected. Your function will activate when needed. And the power growth? Supreme Kai asked. Will it continue? Continuously, but controlled. Accessible only in measure with necessity. Equilibria's voice grew fainter as its form dispersed. The Sentinel has much to learn. Experience will be the teacher. With those final words, Equilibria dissolved completely, its essence returning to the space between realities. The nexus point around them stabilized, the swirling colors and shapes settling into a more orderly pattern. For a moment, no one spoke. Then Vegeta broke the silence in his typically blunt fashion. Well, that was surprisingly anticlimactic. Goku laughed, the sound pure and familiar, a reassuring indication that despite cosmic integration, he remained essentially himself. Sorry to disappoint you, Vegeta. Were you hoping for a fight? I'm always hoping for a fight, Vegeta admitted with a hint of a smile. But perhaps it's better this way. The universe probably couldn't have survived a battle between you and that thing. Probably not, Goku agreed. He examined his hands, sensing the changed nature of his power. It was still there, still growing, but now contained within a complex framework that would regulate its expression. He could feel it responding to his surroundings, measuring potential threats and adjusting accordingly, like a muscle tensing and relaxing automatically. How do you feel, Dad? Gohan asked, studying his father carefully. Different, Goku admitted. But still me. Just, more aware of things I never noticed before. The cosmic awareness will take time to integrate fully with your consciousness, Whis explained. You've essentially gained an entire new sense, the ability to perceive balance and imbalance across reality layers. So he's still our Goku, just with cosmic babysitter duties added on. Piccolo summarized dryly. That's one way to put it, Supreme Kai chuckled. Though I suspect the role will prove more complex than that as time passes. Beerus approached Goku, studying him with narrowed eyes. I can sense the change in you. Your power is still there, still growing, but, contained. Purposeful. The god of destruction smirked. Congratulations, Scion. You've managed to break cosmic law and get promoted for it. Just lucky, I guess, Goku replied with his familiar grin. Not luck, Whis corrected gently. Equilibria doesn't make decisions based on fortune or chance. It recognized something in you, Goku, a quality that made you suitable for this role despite your mortal origins. Or perhaps because of them, Supreme Kai suggested. The texts I studied mentioned that previous integrations often involved beings who straddled categories in some way. Perhaps being a mortal with divine potential made you uniquely qualified. Whatever the reason, Vegeta interjected, we should return to Earth. I'm sure Bulma is driving herself crazy wondering what happened. Right. Goku nodded, placing 2 fingers to his forehead. But before activating the instant transmission, he paused, looking around at the nexus point one last time, seeing it now with new understanding, perceiving the intricate balance of forces that maintained this pocket between realities. With his enhanced awareness, he could sense connections he'd never noticed before, threads of energy linking distant points across the universe, flows of power between cosmic layers, the subtle resonance of other sentinels and cosmic entities going about their appointed functions. For the first time, he understood that his lifelong journey, from Earth Child to Scion Warrior to Divine Challenger to whatever he was now becoming, had perhaps been leading to this point all along. His unlimited potential hadn't been a cosmic accident but a necessary evolution. "Ready?" he asked the others, refocusing on the present moment. As they gathered around him, Goku locked onto Earth's familiar energy signature and activated the technique. In a flash, they vanished from the nexus point, leaving behind only a faint ripple in the fabric of reality, the mark of the newly designated Equilibrium Sentinel returning home. Bulma nearly knocked over her workstation when they materialized in Capsule Corp's main lab. "You're back. All of you." She looked them over quickly, searching for injuries or changes. "What happened? Did it work? Is Goku okay?" "Define okay," Vegeta replied dryly. "I'm fine, Bulma," Goku assured her with a smile. "Just, different." As concisely as possible, they explained what had transpired at the nexus point, Equilibria's appearance, the offered choice between correction and integration, and Goku's new designation as an Equilibrium Sentinel. "So you're still you, but with cosmic responsibilities and regulated power expression?" Bulma summarized, examining the stabilizer on Goku's wrist. To her surprise, it had integrated with his skin, the metal seeming to flow seamlessly into his flesh. "And apparently my technology has been upgraded too." The stabilizer served its purpose in demonstrating control potential, Whis explained. Equilibria seems to have incorporated its function into the integration process. "Typical," Bulma sighed. "I spend days creating breakthrough technology, and some cosmic entity just absorbs it without so much as a patent acknowledgement." Despite the flippancy of her complaint, relief was evident in her expression. The crisis had been averted, at least for now. "So what happens next?" she asked. "Life goes on," Goku said simply. "I go home to Chi-Chi, train with Vegeta. Play with my grandkid. And occasionally, I guess, deal with cosmic imbalances when they pop up." "You make it sound so ordinary," Gohan remarked. Goku shrugged. "That's the point, isn't it? I'm still me, still living my life. Just with some extra responsibility. And potentially unlimited power that activates when cosmic balance requires it," Piccolo added. "Nothing major. When you put it that way." Goku laughed. As the others continued discussing the implications, Vegeta pulled Goku aside, his expression uncharacteristically thoughtful. "I have a question, Kakarot," he said quietly. "What's up? This new arrangement. How does it affect our rivalry?" Vegeta's eyes narrowed slightly. "Are you still able to fight normally, or does your power only activate for cosmic threats now?" Goku smiled, touched by Vegeta's concern, though he knew better than to point it out. "The integration didn't change who I am, Vegeta. I can still train, still fight, still get stronger through effort like always. The only difference is that now there's this reserve that only kicks in when truly needed. So I can still surpass you through proper training?" Vegeta pressed. "You can certainly try," Goku replied with a challenging grin. Vegeta snorted, but satisfaction gleamed in his eyes. "Good. Because I've developed some new techniques while helping you with your little cosmic crisis. Techniques you haven't seen yet. I look forward to it," Goku said sincerely. Despite everything that had happened, the unlimited power, the cosmic integration, the new responsibilities, the prospect of continuing his lifelong rivalry with Vegeta remained one of his greatest joys. Their conversation was interrupted by a sudden alarm from Bulma's computer. The screen flashed red, displaying readings from a distant quadrant of space. "What is it?" Supreme Kai asked, moving closer to examine the display. "Energy readings from the edge of the galaxy," Bulma reported, typing rapidly. Massive power signature, unlike anything in my database. Whis peered over her shoulder, his expression growing serious. Interesting timing. What do you mean? Goku asked. This signature, Whis pointed to a specific pattern on the screen. It bears the energy markers of divine corruption, a cosmic imbalance within the category of creation deities. All eyes turned to Goku, who had gone suddenly still. His eyes had taken on that silvery sheen again, and his expression shifted from casual to intensely focused. You feel it, don't you? Beerus asked knowingly. Your new function activating. Goku nodded slowly. Something's wrong out there. Something that needs to be balanced. Well, Vegeta said, crossing his arms with a smirk, it seems the universe isn't going to give you much of a training period, Sentinel. It never does, Goku replied with a rueful smile. He looked around at his friends and family, the people who had supported him through this transformation, who had stood beside him before Equilibria itself. I guess I've got my first assignment. We'll come with you, Gohan offered immediately. Goku shook his head. Not this time, son. Whatever's happening out there. I can feel that it's specifically meant for me to handle. My first test as a sentinel. Just because you have a fancy new cosmic title doesn't mean you have to face everything alone, Kakarot, Vegeta growled. Some lessons you never learn. Actually, Goku replied with a knowing smile, I think you're supposed to come with me on this one, Vegeta. What? Vegeta blinked in surprise. How would you know that? Goku tapped his temple. Cosmic awareness, remember? I can sense patterns now, connections. And for whatever reason, this particular imbalance requires both of us to address it. The rivalry balance, Whis murmured thoughtfully. Fascinating. Perhaps your function isn't meant to be executed alone, but through established relationships and connections. That would be consistent with previous integrations, Supreme Kai agreed. Cosmic roles often build upon existing strengths rather than creating entirely new paradigms. So what you're saying, Vegeta summarized, is that I'm stuck with you even in your new cosmic babysitting career. Looks that way, Goku confirmed cheerfully. Partners in maintaining universal balance. Wonderful, Vegeta muttered, though the corner of his mouth twitched upward. As if saving the universe alongside you wasn't tiresome enough already. You love it, Bulma teased her husband. I tolerate it, Vegeta corrected, though without real heat. He turned to Goku with renewed seriousness. So, Sentinel. What's our first mission? Goku closed his eyes briefly, accessing his new cosmic awareness. Information flowed through his mind, not just data, but understanding, context, purpose. When he opened his eyes again, they gleamed with silver determination. There's a rogue creation god at the edge of our galaxy, he explained. Someone who's broken the rules of their position, creating life forms designed to consume whole star systems. If they're not stopped, the galactic balance will shift irreparably. And this requires unlimited potential to address? Piccolo asked skeptically. Not unlimited, Goku corrected. Proportional. Exactly as much power as needed, no more, no less. He smiled slightly. It's actually more challenging than just powering up to maximum. Precision over power, Vegeta nodded. As I've been telling you all along. You were right, Goku acknowledged. And now I get to put it into practice. He extended a hand toward his rival. Ready for a new kind of adventure, Vegeta? The Saiyan Prince eyed the offered hand with his usual disdain, but finally clasped it firmly. Just don't expect me to call you Sentinel. Wouldn't dream of it, Goku laughed. As they prepared for departure, Bulma insisting on additional equipment, Gohan extracting promises of careful communication, Whis offering last-minute advice, Goku took a moment to center himself. He reached inward, feeling the familiar well of his power, now flowing through new channels shaped by cosmic purpose. The unlimited potential was still there, still growing minute by minute. But now it felt right, contained not by arbitrary limitations but by meaningful function. For the first time since the gravity chamber accident, he felt truly in balance with himself. Whatever challenges awaited him as an equilibrium sentinel, he would face them as he had always faced adversity, with determination, optimism, and friends by his side. Some things, even cosmic integration, couldn't change. And that, Goku reflected as he prepared to embark on his first official mission, was exactly as it should be. Chapter 3, Balance of Infinity. The edge of the galaxy looked nothing like Vegeta expected. Instead of stars gradually thinning into the void between galaxies, a swirling mass of colors twisted and churned like oil in water. Purples, greens, and blues that shouldn't exist in space pulsed with sickly light. That doesn't look natural, Vegeta muttered, hovering beside Goku in the vacuum of space. It's not. Goku's eyes glimmered with that unsettling silver sheen as he observed the phenomenon. Those are creation energies being misused. Corrupted. They'd traveled here via Goku's instant transmission, guided by his new cosmic awareness. The journey had taken multiple jumps, even Goku's enhanced abilities couldn't cross an entire galaxy in one leap. So where's this rogue god? Vegeta scanned the chaotic energies ahead. There. Goku pointed toward what appeared to be a solid structure floating within the swirling mass, a massive crystalline fortress glittering like a diamond caught in rainbow light. That's not just their base. It's what they're making. Making what, exactly? A new type of life. Goku's expression grew troubled. But it's wrong. Creation gods are supposed to bring balance, new species that fill ecological niches, maintain diversity. This is something else. Something hungry. Vegeta raised an eyebrow. You can tell all that just by looking. Not looking. Sensing. Goku tapped his temple. The new cosmic awareness thing. It's like. I can feel the purpose behind energy now, not just the energy itself. Humph, convenient. Vegeta crossed his arms. So what's the plan? Blast our way in? Actually, I was thinking we should knock. Before Vegeta could object to this ridiculously casual approach, Goku raised a hand toward the crystal fortress and released a thin beam of energy. Rather than an attack, it pulsed with a specific rhythm, like a signal or message. The response was immediate. The swirling energies parted, creating a tunnel leading directly to the fortress. An invitation. Or a trap. After you, Sentinel, Vegeta said dryly. Goku grinned. Together, I think. They flew side by side through the energy tunnel, alert for any sign of attack. None came. Instead, the fortress itself seemed to respond to their approach, its crystalline surface rippling and reshaping to create an opening precisely as they reached it. Welcome, interlopers. The voice reverberated around them as they entered a vast chamber that seemed larger inside than the exterior suggested. I've been expecting observers from the cosmic authorities. Though I admit, I anticipated Kais, not, whatever you are. The speaker materialized at the chamber's center, a being that resembled a tall, slender humanoid composed of shifting watercolor paints. Its features constantly flowed and reformed, though two bright points of light remained fixed where eyes would be. I'm Goku. This is Vegeta. Goku stepped forward casually, as if meeting an interesting stranger rather than confronting a cosmic renegade. And you're creating something you shouldn't be. The being's fluid form rippled with what might have been amusement. How charmingly direct. I am Callisto, creation deity of the seventh spectrum. And what I create is entirely my own affair. Not when it threatens galactic balance, Goku countered, his friendly tone hardening slightly. Callisto drifted closer, its watercolor form shifting from cool blues to vibrant oranges. And what would a mortal know of balance? Even one carrying the stink of Equilibria's touch. Enough to know you're breaking the rules, Goku replied simply. Vegeta stepped forward, his patience already wearing thin. Let's skip the philosophical debate. We know what you're doing out here, creating life forms designed to consume entire star systems. The question is, will you stop voluntarily, or do we need to make you stop? Make me stop. Callisto's form flared with sudden intensity, the chamber darkening as the deity absorbed ambient light. I am a creation god. My purpose is to bring new life into existence. Who are you to judge which forms that life should take? We're not judging, Goku said, his voice remaining calm. The cosmic laws are. Every creation god knows the boundaries. Life must be sustainable, balanced, part of the greater ecosystem. Sustainability is stagnation. Callisto's form expanded, filling more of the chamber. My children are perfect. Efficient. They consume dying star systems and convert them into pure creative energy. And then what? Goku pressed. When they run out of dying stars and move on to healthy ones. When entire galaxies go dark. Evolution. Advancement. The universe renews itself through creative destruction. As Callisto spoke, the crystal walls around them became transparent, revealing what lay beyond. Massive creature incubation chambers filled the fortress, each containing what looked like miniature black holes wrapped in iridescent membranes. Hundreds of them, thousands, all pulsing with hungry potential. You see. Callisto gestured proudly to the creatures. My stellar devourers will change the cosmic order itself. Accelerate the natural cycle of universal death and rebirth. Vegeta's eyes narrowed as he studied the creatures. Those things aren't just star eaters. They're dimension eaters. They'll punch holes in reality itself. A necessary side effect, Callisto dismissed. New dimensions will form in the wake of the old. But the existing life throughout the universe won't survive the transition, Goku said, his cosmic awareness revealing the full implications. Trillions of beings across millions of worlds, all erased to fuel your evolution. A small price for universal advancement. Something shifted in Goku's expression, a hardness rarely seen except in his most serious battles. That's not your decision to make. It is precisely my decision. Callisto roared, all pretense of civility vanishing. I am a creation god. Who are you to question me, mortal? I'm the Equilibrium Sentinel, Goku replied, silver light beginning to glow in his eyes. And you're causing an imbalance. The air around Goku shimmered as his power began to rise, not in the familiar explosion of a Super Saiyan transformation, but in a controlled, measured increase perfectly calibrated to the threat before him. Callisto recoiled slightly, genuine surprise rippling through its fluid form. Sentinel. Impossible. No mortal has ever been granted such status. Times change, Vegeta commented dryly, dropping into a fighting stance beside Goku. And apparently, so do cosmic hierarchies. This is your last chance, Goku offered. Dismantle this project. Create life that brings balance, not destruction. Callisto's form darkened to deep crimson. I refuse. My vision will not be constrained by outdated cosmic parameters. The deity's form began to expand rapidly, filling the chamber with swirling, paint-like substance. Do you think yourselves capable of challenging a creation god? I make reality. The chamber around them dissolved as Callisto's essence spread outward, reconstructing their surroundings into a bizarre landscape that defied physics. Up and down lost meaning. Distances stretched and compressed randomly. The very foundation of reality became fluid, malleable. He's trying to unmake us at the atomic level, Vegeta grunted, his blue aura flaring defensively. Rewriting our physical properties. Focus on your own existence, Goku called back, his body glowing with silver-white energy. Creation gods can manipulate reality, but they can't override true identity without consent. Vegeta nodded, concentrating on his essential self, his pride, his strength, his very Saiyan nature. The warping reality around him stabilized slightly, unable to rewrite his core being. Callisto's voice boomed from everywhere at once. Impressive resistance. but futile. Tendrils of creative energy lashed out, not attacking their bodies but the space around them, trying to isolate them in pocket dimensions, separate them from each other and from the main reality. Vegeta! Goku called, reaching toward his partner as reality fractured between them. Focus on your function, Kakarot. Vegeta shouted back, fighting to maintain his position in space-time. You're the Sentinel. Act like it. Goku's eyes blazed silver as he fully embraced his new role for the first time. The stabilizer embedded in his wrist pulsed with energy as his power adjusted, not maximizing, but optimizing for exactly what was needed. Cosmic Anchor, he shouted, slamming both fists together. A wave of silver energy burst outward, imposing a single reality framework over Callisto's chaotic manipulations. Physics stabilized. Dimensions realigned. The creation gods' attempt to rewrite their local reality collapsed. What is this? Callisto shrieked, its form condensing back to humanoid shape, though now 3 times larger than before. You cannot counter creation energy. It is fundamental. I'm not countering it, Goku explained, his voice eerily calm. I'm balancing it. That's my function. Function? Callisto spat. You're nothing but Equilibria's pet. A puppet with delusions of cosmic relevance. Maybe so, Goku acknowledged with a shrug. But right now, this puppet is shutting down your Stellar Devourer project. He turned to Vegeta with sudden clarity. I need your help. Your energy signature is different from mine, more focused, more precise. I need that precision. Vegeta raised an eyebrow but nodded. What do you need me to do? Channel your energy through me. Not your maximum power, your maximum control. Understanding dawned in Vegeta's eyes. He moved beside Goku, placing a hand on his shoulder. Like we practiced during your training. Exactly. As Vegeta channeled his energy, the perfect control he'd mastered through decades of disciplined training, Goku acted as a conduit, amplifying and reshaping it through his sentinel abilities. Enough of this. Callisto roared, raising arms that stretched and divided into dozens of tendrils. I will not be denied my creation. The deity launched a barrage of creation energy, not to attack them directly, but aimed at the incubation chambers beyond. Attempting to accelerate the hatching process, to release the stellar devourers before they could be stopped. Now, Vegeta! Goku shouted. Together, they released a beam of perfectly controlled energy, Vegeta's precision guided by Goku's cosmic awareness, amplified by exactly as much of his unlimited potential as needed, no more and no less. The beam struck Callisto directly in the center of its fluid form. But instead of causing damage, it passed through the deity like light through water, splitting into thousands of smaller beams that redirected toward each incubation chamber. No! Callisto screamed, realizing their intent too late. The energy beams touched each developing stellar devourer simultaneously, not destroying them but fundamentally altering their structure, rewriting the creation that had been flawed from conception. I'm not destroying your children, Goku explained as the energy worked. I'm balancing them. Giving them a sustainable purpose that doesn't require consuming entire star systems. The incubation chambers glowed as the creatures inside transformed, the hungry void at their centers shrinking, replaced by a controlled fusion core similar to a natural star. Their iridescent membranes thickened, becoming self-contained ecosystems. What have you done? Callisto whispered, watching its creations transform. Turned planet killers into planet seeders, Goku answered. They'll still consume stellar energy, but they'll convert it into nutrients that can terraform dead worlds, create atmospheres, generate conditions for natural life to evolve. They'll bring life instead of consuming it, Vegeta added, a hint of admiration in his voice as he observed the transformation. Callisto drifted closer to the nearest chamber, placing a fluid hand against its surface. You've rewritten my creation. I've corrected its balance, Goku said gently. They're still yours. Still unique. But now they contribute to cosmic harmony instead of destroying it. The creation god's form rippled with complex emotions, anger, grief, but also a reluctant appreciation. The design is elegant, it admitted finally. They retain their purpose of transformation, but with sustainable outcomes. That's how balance works, Goku said. Not by eliminating creative forces, but by channeling them productively. Callisto turned to fully face Goku, its fluid form settling into more stable patterns. You are not what I expected, Sentinel. I anticipated destruction, not collaboration. Destruction is Beerus's department, Goku replied with a grin. I'm here for balance. And what happens now? Callisto asked. Am I to be punished for my transgression? That's not my call, Goku said. My job was to address the imbalance, not judge the imbalancer. Though I imagine the Kais might have some questions for you. As if summoned by his words, space rippled nearby. Supreme Kai materialized, accompanied by two others Goku didn't recognize, presumably Kais from neighboring galaxies. We sensed the correction, Supreme Kai explained, bowing slightly to Goku. Well done, Sentinel. Your first official intervention appears successful. The creation energy has been rebalanced, one of the other Kais confirmed, studying the transformed incubation chambers. These beings now contribute to creative harmony rather than entropic destruction. Most impressive. Callisto drifted toward the Kais, its form diminished in size but more stable in appearance. I surrender myself to Kai judgment, it said formally. My creations have been corrected. I accept that my vision was flawed. Not flawed, Goku corrected. Just unbalanced. There's a difference. The creation god's eye lights fixed on Goku with newfound respect. Perhaps there is wisdom in mortality after all, Sentinel. A perspective we eternal beings sometimes lose. As the Kais prepared to depart with Callisto, Supreme Kai lingered behind. Your approach was unexpected, Goku. Many would have simply destroyed the stellar devourers and imprisoned the creation god. Destroying stuff is easy, Goku shrugged. Finding balance is harder. But better, I think. Supreme Kai smiled. Equilibria chose well, it seems. He turned to Vegeta with a curious expression. And your role in this was most intriguing. The precision you provided, it appears the Sentinel's function incorporates existing relationships and complementary abilities. Don't read too much into it, Vegeta grumbled. I was just preventing Kakarot from making a mess, as usual. Of course, Supreme Kai replied diplomatically, though his knowing smile remained. We'll handle matters from here. You two should return to Earth and rest. First cosmic interventions are often taxing. After Supreme Kai departed with the others, Vegeta turned to Goku with a contemplative expression. That was different. Yeah, Goku agreed, the silver light in his eyes fading as his power returned to baseline. Usually we just punch the bad guys until they stop moving. Not just that. Vegeta gestured to where Goku's stabilizer pulsed on his wrist. Your power. I felt it adjust automatically, precisely the level needed, no wasted energy. Like a perfect engine. Goku looked down at his hands. It felt different too. Like I had all the power I needed, exactly when I needed it. Not holding back, but not overdoing it either. Balance, Vegeta observed. Fitting. Ready to head home? Goku asked, extending two fingers toward his forehead. Wait. Vegeta's expression grew serious. Before we go back, I want to know, how did it feel? Using your power for its new purpose. Goku considered the question carefully. Right, he said finally. It felt right. Like I've been trying to force a square peg into a round hole my whole life, and someone finally showed me the square hole. And you're satisfied with that? Having all that potential, but only accessing it when some cosmic balance needs restoring? I thought I wouldn't be, Goku admitted. But it turns out having a purpose feels better than just having power. He grinned suddenly. Besides, I can still kick your butt in a regular sparring match. Vegeta snorted. In your dreams, Kakarot. But there was no real heat in his voice. Something had changed between them, a new understanding, a different kind of respect. As Goku prepared the instant transmission to take them home, Leader Saiyan noticed the subtle shimmer in reality nearby, a momentary thinning of dimensional barriers as something observed them from beyond normal perception. Their first test as Sentinel and partner was complete. But the true challenge was just beginning. I still don't get it, Krillin said, scratching his head. So you can get infinitely strong, but only use as much power as the situation needs? Seems like a raw deal. They were gathered at Capsule Corp for what Bulma had labeled a cosmic promotion party, though Vegeta had repeatedly objected to the name. 2 weeks had passed since the incident with Callisto, and life had settled into a strange new normal. It's not about the raw power, Goku tried to explain, mouth half full of appetizers. It's about having exactly what's needed at the exact right time. Like a cosmic Swiss Army knife, Bulma suggested, refilling drinks. Something like that. Goku swallowed his massive mouthful. Plus I can still train and fight normally. The unlimited growth thing is still happening, I just can't access all of it unless there's a real need for balance. Convenient loophole, Piccolo observed from his corner. The universe gets a safety valve for cosmic threats, and you get to keep getting stronger without blowing up reality. Win-win. Goku grinned. And how many times have you been called to duty? Since the Creation God incident? Master Roshi asked. 3 times, Goku replied. Though 2 were pretty minor. A dimensional rift near Jupiter that was leaking weird energy. Some time displacement thing in another galaxy. And the 3rd? Gohan prompted. Goku exchanged glances with Vegeta, who had remained characteristically quiet throughout most of the conversation. The 3rd was different, Goku said carefully. A god of destruction from another universe was abusing his position, wiping out planets for personal grudges rather than cosmic necessity. A hush fell over the group. Confronting a creation god was one thing, taking on a god of destruction was another matter entirely. What happened? Tien finally asked. We reminded him of his purpose, Vegeta answered, speaking up for the first time. Forcefully. You fought a god of destruction. Bulma exclaimed, eyes wide. Not exactly fought, Goku clarified. More like, contained. Showed him he wasn't as all-powerful as he thought. The Sentinel powers activated exactly as much as needed to match him without destroying him. Perfect balance, Whis observed from nearby, where he'd been quietly observing with Beerus. Neutralizing the threat without becoming one yourself. Beerus yawned elaborately. Kompa could use a similar lesson, if you're taking requests. Not how it works, Goku laughed. The function activates when there's true imbalance, not just when gods get annoying. Pity, Beerus muttered. As the party continued around them, Chi-Chi approached Goku quietly, pulling him aside for a private moment. How are you really doing with all this? She asked, her eyes searching his face. The cosmic responsibility, the power changes, everything. Goku smiled softly at his wife. Honestly? Better than I expected. It's like, for the first time, my strength has a clear purpose beyond just fighting stronger guys. It feels right. Chi-Chi nodded, relief evident in her expression. And you're still you. That's what matters to me. Always will be, Goku promised, taking her hand. Cosmic Sentinel or not, I'm still the same guy who can't remember to put his dirty clothes in the hamper. Don't remind me, Chi-Chi groaned, but she was smiling. Across the room, Vegeta watched this exchange with an unreadable expression. Bulma sidled up beside him, following his gaze. Penny for your thoughts, she asked quietly. My thoughts are worth considerably more, Vegeta replied dryly. Fine. A gravity room upgrade for your thoughts. That earned a small smirk. I was just thinking about how strange this all is. Kakarot, of all people, given cosmic responsibility. The universe has an odd sense of humor. Or perfect judgment, Bulma countered. Who better to handle unlimited power than someone who never really cared about power for its own sake? Vegeta considered this. Perhaps. Though I'll never admit that in his presence. Of course not, Bulma agreed with a knowing smile. How's the new training going? The thing you've been working on in secret? Vegeta raised an eyebrow. Nothing is secret from you, is it? Not in my house, no. It's progressing, Vegeta admitted. Different approach than before. Precision over raw power. Quality over quantity. Inspired by recent events. Adapted to them, Vegeta corrected. If Kakarot's new role is balance, then perhaps mine is focus. Concentrated force applied with perfect control. Bulma looked impressed. That's surprisingly philosophical, coming from you. Don't get used to it, Vegeta warned, but without heat. Their conversation was interrupted as the lights throughout Capsule Corp suddenly flickered. Outside, the sky darkened unnaturally, stars becoming visible in broad daylight as they rearranged themselves into impossible patterns. Goku straightened immediately, the stabilizer on his wrist glowing brightly. Everyone stay calm, he said, his voice carrying effortless authority. We have a visitor. Reality rippled at the center of the room. Space folded inward, creating an opening through which stepped the now familiar form of Equilibria. Its liquid metal body had stabilized further since their last encounter, taking on a more definitively humanoid appearance, though its face remained a smooth surface occasionally rippling with symbols. Sentinel, its multi-layered voice acknowledged Goku. First evaluation period has concluded. Already? Goku moved forward to meet the cosmic entity. It's only been 2 weeks. Time is perceived differently across cosmic layers, Equilibria replied. For evaluation purposes, sufficient data has been gathered. The party guests had backed away, forming a wide circle around the cosmic entity. Even Beerus looked uncomfortable in Equilibria's presence, his ears flattened against his head. So? Goku asked, surprisingly casual despite the tension filling the room. How'd I do? Pass or fail? Equilibria's featureless face rippled with symbols that might have indicated amusement. Evaluation is not binary, Sentinel. Integration assessment is complex, multifaceted. But you're here for a reason, Goku pressed. Good news or bad news? Unexpected outcomes, Equilibria clarified. Your approach to Sentinel function diverges from established parameters. Is that a problem? It is. Interesting. Equilibria turned slightly, acknowledging Vegeta's presence. The incorporation of a secondary agent was not anticipated. Nor was the regenerative approach to imbalance correction. You mean fixing things instead of destroying them? Goku asked. Precisely. Traditional Sentinel protocol prioritizes neutralization of imbalance through containment or elimination. Your methodology focuses on transformation and redirection. Destruction is easy, Goku shrugged, echoing what he told Supreme Kai. Finding a better way is harder, but worth it. Equilibria was silent for a moment, symbols flowing more slowly across its featureless face. This approach has implications for cosmic balance maintenance. Good ones or bad ones? Vegeta demanded, stepping forward to stand beside Goku. Undetermined. Equilibria's form shifted slightly. The purpose of this evaluation is to assess whether modifications are required. Modifications? Goku tensed. To what? To you, Sentinel. Your integration parameters may need adjustment based on observed function execution. The room grew very still. Everyone present understood the implication. Equilibria was considering changing the deal it had made with Goku. I thought we had an agreement, Goku said, his voice hardening. I accept the sentinel role, maintain balance when needed, and keep my unlimited potential under regulated expression. Agreements evolve as circumstances dictate, Equilibria replied. Your approach introduces variables not accounted for in original integration. Such as Vegeta challenged. Rehabilitation over nullification. Partnership over autonomous action. Wisdom over force. Equilibria's form pulsed with each point. These methodologies change potential outcomes. For the better, I'd say, Bulma interjected boldly. Fixing problems has to be better than just eliminating them. Equilibria turned its attention to her, causing Vegeta to step protectively closer. Perspective is noted, mortal scientist. But cosmic balance operates on principles beyond moral evaluation. Efficiency. Sustainability. Pattern integrity. And my approach threatens those principles? Goku asked. Not threatens, Equilibria corrected. Transforms. The pattern shifts when balance maintenance incorporates rehabilitation. Long-term projections become unpredictable. Isn't unpredictability part of life, though? Gohan spoke up, moving to stand near his father. If everything followed perfect patterns, there'd be no growth, no evolution. The offspring makes a valid observation, Equilibria acknowledged. Controlled variability is essential to cosmic health. But unlimited variability is what you're afraid my approach might introduce, Goku finished the thought. Too many new possibilities, too many changes to the established order. Correct. Goku took a deep breath, centering himself. The silver light flickered in his eyes as he connected with his cosmic awareness, perceiving the layers of reality and balance that Equilibria maintained. I think I understand the real issue, he said finally. It's not that my approach is wrong. It's that it introduces something new to the cosmic order itself. Change. And change must be managed carefully, Equilibria confirmed. Especially when initiated by an entity with unlimited potential. So what happens now? Goku asked. You modify me to make me follow the old Sentinel protocols. Make me destroy what I could fix instead. That is one option. And the others? Equilibria's form stilled completely, symbols freezing on its featureless face. The alternative is unprecedented. Adaptation of cosmic balance parameters to incorporate new methodologies. Murmurs rippled through the onlookers. Even Whis looked surprised. You mean you changed the rules? Goku asked, making sure he understood. Not the fundamental laws, Equilibria clarified. But the implementation protocols. The methods by which balance is maintained. Why would you even consider that? Beerus asked suspiciously. Cosmic entities don't change their minds on a whim. This is no whim, Destroyer. Equilibria's attention shifted briefly to Beerus. Analysis of Sentinel outcomes reveals potential long-term efficiency improvements. Rehabilitation creates sustainable balance where elimination creates temporary vacuum. So my way might actually be better for the cosmic balance in the long run, Goku summarized with a growing smile. Potentially, Equilibria acknowledged. But not without risk. Change introduces uncertainty. Uncertainty threatens pattern integrity. Life is uncertainty, Chi-Chi said unexpectedly, stepping forward despite concerned looks from the others. That's what makes it worth living. The mate speaks truth from mortal perspective, Equilibria noted. But cosmic balance requires certain constants. What if the constant was the goal, not the method? Goku suggested suddenly, inspiration striking. What if balance itself stays the same, but how we get there can adapt and evolve? Equilibria went very still again, symbols racing across its face so quickly they blurred into continuous motion. It seemed to be processing, calculating, projecting outcomes based on this suggestion. Finally, it spoke. A fascinating proposition. Fixed destination, variable journey. Exactly, Goku nodded enthusiastically. The cosmic balance stays protected, but the way we protect it can get better over time. Evolution instead of stagnation. This is unprecedented, Whis murmured to Beerus. A cosmic entity considering procedural adaptation based on mortal input. Leave it to Goku to argue with the embodiment of universal law, Beerus replied with reluctant admiration. And potentially win. Equilibria's form began to shift, expanding slightly as its surface rippled with increasing complexity. Your proposal requires evaluation. Simulation. Projection. Take all the time you need, Goku offered generously. Time is irrelevant to cosmic function, Equilibria replied. Then, unexpectedly, its featureless face formed what appeared to be a mouth, a simple line that curved upward in something resembling a smile. But your sentiment is appreciated, Sentinel. Without further warning, Equilibria's form suddenly exploded outward, enveloping the entire room in liquid metal. Gasps of alarm quickly faded as everyone realized they weren't being attacked, just incorporated into some kind of shared perceptual space. The world around them dissolved and reformed into a vast cosmic landscape, stars, galaxies, dimensions layered upon dimensions in beautiful harmony. In this space, they could see what Goku now perceived through his cosmic awareness, the delicate balance of forces that maintained reality itself. This is the cosmic pattern, Equilibria's voice explained as they observed the intricate dance of energies. The balance I maintain. The vision shifted, showing disruptions in the pattern, imbalances caused by various forces. Then it displayed two different response methods, the traditional Sentinel approach of neutralization, and Goku's new approach of rehabilitation and redirection. Observe the difference in outcomes. The neutralization method created clean, immediate resolutions, but left empty spaces in the pattern that slowly filled with new, sometimes unstable energies. The rehabilitation method took longer to implement but resulted in strengthened patterns, more resilient to future disruptions. I see the merit in your approach, Sentinel, Equilibria acknowledged as the vision faded, returning them to Capsule Corporation, though it requires more complex implementation, the long-term stability improvements are significant. So, Goku ventured. No modifications needed? Incorrect. Modifications are required, but not to you. Equilibria's form contracted, becoming more defined, more permanent seeming. The protocols themselves must evolve. The cosmic maintenance systems require updating. You're going to change how balance is maintained? Whis asked, unable to keep the astonishment from his voice. Based on Goku's example. Based on empirical outcome analysis, Equilibria corrected, though the mouth-like curve remained on its featureless face. The Sentinel has demonstrated a more efficient methodology. Adaptation is logical. And what does this mean for me? Goku asked. For my role. Your function expands, Equilibria declared. No longer merely maintenance of existing balance, but evolution of balance methodologies. Teaching through example. You want me to keep doing what I'm doing, Goku translated. And you'll learn from it. Precisely. Your unlimited potential will serve not only to address imbalances but to innovate solutions. Equilibria's form began to fade slightly, becoming transparent. You will report outcomes. I will incorporate viable methodologies into cosmic protocols. A research partnership with the embodiment of universal law, Bulma marveled. Only you, Goku. There is one more thing, Vegeta interjected before Equilibria could depart. The Sentinel function seems to work better with partnership, with complementary abilities and perspectives. Is this officially recognized in your updated protocols? Equilibria's fading form solidified again briefly. Affirmative. The prince's role is acknowledged. Precision complements potential. Focus balances expansion. Its attention shifted to include the entire group. All connections contribute to function efficacy. So I'm stuck with these idiots helping me? Goku asked with a grin. Connections are strength, not limitation, Equilibria replied. This is perhaps the most significant insight your function has revealed, Sentinel. True balance requires community, not isolation. With those surprisingly profound words, Equilibria's form dissolved completely, reality rippling briefly before settling back to normal. The stars outside returned to their proper places. The lights of Capsule Corp stabilized. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Krillin broke the silence with a low whistle. So, just to be clear, you convinced the embodiment of universal law to change how it's been doing things for billions of years? Sounds about right, Goku shrugged, the silver light fading from his eyes as his cosmic awareness returned to background levels. Unbelievable, Piccolo muttered. You didn't even punch anything to solve the problem. I know, right? Goku laughed. I'm growing up. Don't get ahead of yourself, Kakarot, Vegeta snorted. You still tried to eat a soap bar yesterday because you thought it was cheese. It looked exactly like that fancy cheese Bulma serves. Goku protested as everyone burst into laughter. As the party resumed, now with even more to celebrate, Goku found a quiet moment to step outside onto Capsule Corp's balcony. The night sky stretched above him, stars twinkling peacefully, unaware of how close they'd come to fundamental change. He could sense them differently now, not just as distant lights, but as parts of an intricate cosmic dance. His awareness extended beyond normal perception, touching the threads of reality that connected all things. With just a thought, he could reach out and feel the pulse of the universe itself. Penny for your thoughts. Vegeta's voice came from behind him. Goku smiled without turning. That's the second time that line's been used tonight. You and Bulma are starting to sound alike. Take that back or I'll blast you off this balcony, Vegeta growled, moving to stand beside him. You know it wouldn't work, Goku teased. My power would just automatically match yours exactly. Perfect balance, Vegeta nodded. Though I wonder. What? If we're perfectly matched, does that mean we'll never know which of us is truly stronger? A hint of the old competitive fire flashed in Vegeta's eyes. That would be unsatisfying. Goku considered this. The Sentinel powers only activate for true cosmic imbalances. Our rivalry doesn't qualify, it's just two guys trying to outdo each other. So there's still a chance I could surpass you, Vegeta mused. Through conventional means. Always a chance, Goku agreed with a grin. You'll have to train pretty hard, though. Even my baseline keeps growing. I wouldn't have it any other way. Vegeta crossed his arms, looking up at the stars. You know, Kakarot, when this whole no-limit situation started, I was furious. Jealous beyond reason. I remember. You were kind of a jerk about it. I was, Vegeta admitted without defensiveness. But now. I see that it couldn't have been anyone else. What do you mean? This power, this responsibility, it had to be you. Anyone else, including me, would have been corrupted by truly unlimited potential. Would have used it selfishly, destructively. Vegeta's voice held no bitterness, only honest self-assessment. You were the only one pure enough to handle it correctly. Goku blinked in surprise at this unprecedented admission. Wow, Vegeta. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. And if you ever repeat it, I'll deny it completely, Vegeta warned, though a small smirk played at the corner of his mouth. Besides, someone has to keep you grounded. Make sure all this cosmic responsibility doesn't go to your head. That's what friends are for, Goku agreed cheerfully. Partners, Vegeta corrected. In maintaining balance. Partners, Goku nodded, holding out his hand. After a moment's hesitation, Vegeta clasped it firmly, a gesture that would have been unthinkable when they first met, but now felt like the most natural thing in the world. Above them, a shooting star streaked across the sky. Goku's enhanced perception recognized it not as a meteor, but as one of Callisto's transformed creations, a stellar seeder on its way to bring life to a distant, barren world. Balance in action. Creation instead of destruction. Life instead of emptiness. And at the center of it all, a scion who had transcended all limits, not just of power, but of purpose. No longer fighting simply to become stronger, but to ensure that strength served something greater than himself. We should get back to the party, Goku suggested. Chi-Chi made her special dumplings. Always thinking with your stomach, Vegeta sighed, but followed him inside nonetheless. 6 months later, Goku stood atop the lookout, gazing out at the earth spread below him. Den approached quietly, coming to stand beside the scion who had become something more than mortal but remained, at heart, the same simple warrior he'd always been. Another successful intervention, the young guardian asked. Yeah, Goku nodded. Some weird temporal anomaly in the Andromeda galaxy. Time was flowing backward in an expanding bubble, undoing everything within it. Tricky to fix without breaking the rest of the timeline. But you managed it. With help, Goku smiled. Vegeta figured out we needed to create a counter-rotation force, match the backward flow exactly, then gradually slow it down until it synchronized with normal time again. Precision work. You two have become quite the team, Dend observed. He keeps me focused. I keep him flexible. Works out pretty well. Den studied Goku curiously. In the months since becoming the Equilibrium Sentinel, subtle changes had appeared in the Scion's demeanor, a deeper thoughtfulness, a more measured approach to problems. He still maintained his essentially cheerful, straightforward nature, but there was wisdom now beneath the simplicity. Has it been difficult? Dend asked. Balancing your cosmic responsibilities with your life here? Not really, Goku shrugged. The Sentinel function only activates when truly needed, maybe once or twice a week. The rest of the time, I'm just regular old me. Regular old you with constantly increasing power, Dend pointed out. Even if you can only access the full extent during cosmic interventions, your baseline is still growing. True, Goku acknowledged. Makes training interesting. Vegeta's gotten creative trying to keep up, focusing on technique and strategy since he can't match raw power anymore. And has he? Kept up, I mean. Goku grinned. Our last sparring match ended in a draw. He nearly took my head off with some new technique he developed, compresses his ki into these super-dense projectiles that explode on impact. Really caught me by surprise. The prince always finds a way, Den chuckled. That's what makes him Vegeta, Goku agreed with obvious affection for his rival. A comfortable silence fell between them as they watched the sun setting over the curved horizon. Somewhere in the distance, thunder rumbled, a summer storm gathering strength. Equilibria was right, you know, Den said after a while. About connections being strength, not limitation. Your partnership with Vegeta, your bonds with family and friends, they're what make your unlimited potential meaningful. Yeah, Goku nodded. Turns out having no limits doesn't mean much if you don't have something worth using that power for. A lesson many never learn, regardless of their strength. Goku's wristband suddenly pulsed with gentle light, not an urgent summons, but a notification. Speaking of connections, he said, checking the signal, Chi-Chi's calling me home for dinner. Better not be late again. Even Equilibrium Sentinels must obey their wives, Den teased. Some cosmic laws are universal, Goku laughed, placing 2 fingers to his forehead. See you around, Den. With that, he vanished, leaving the young guardian alone on the lookout. Den turned his gaze upward to the emerging stars, knowing that somewhere among them, cosmic forces continued their eternal dance, now with a new element introduced, a wild card that brought innovation to systems billions of years old. What would it mean for the universe, having a sentinel who prioritized rehabilitation over destruction? Who saw balance as a living, evolving process rather than a fixed state to be maintained? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain, the cosmos had never seen anything quite like Son Goku, a being of unlimited potential who found his greatest strength not in power itself, but in how he chose to use it. In the end, that was the true meaning of having no limits. Not the absence of constraints, but the freedom to define one's own path within the greater pattern. To grow not just in strength, but in wisdom. To transform not just oneself, but the very systems one was part of. As night fell fully over the earth, distant stars twinkled with new significance, each one a reminder that even in an infinite universe, the choices of individuals mattered. That balance wasn't just maintained, it was created anew each day through countless small actions. And sometimes, through the extraordinary actions of a most unlikely cosmic agent, a scion who had transcended all limits to discover that the greatest power wasn't unlimited strength, but unlimited purpose. The end. Thank you for watching this video. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video.